Here is your podcast.
You know, I've been doing this show 9 years. In the beginning, it was great. I got to show up and just talk and leave. That was fantastic. But now Mex sends me this theme song, tells me to put my own voice in it. Lily shows up. She doesn't produce a goddamn thing. All she does is laugh, turn around, and go home. The only thing I don't wind up doing for this show is listen to it. That's your fucking job. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. I wish I knew how to say that in Arabic. 40. That seems like a bad attempt, and one that, quite frankly, the authorities may kick in the door and drag me out of the country for. That was awful. I don't fucking know. Terrible. You know what? I've been here. How long now? I've been here combined, almost a month combined. That seems long. More like 17 days combined, considering August and now. 10 and 7, 10 and 8, 18 days. 19 days, 19, no, 19. I'm a Hardcastle. I've been here a Hardcastle, perhaps. No, I have not. I think it's 17 days. And let the rain come down, let the rain come down. That's what I say. That's what Prince would say about my trip to Kuwait. He'd say 17 days. He would mention that, and then he would wonder why the fuck he was commenting on my podcast. Because, you know why? Because I've commented so many times on your songs, Prince. You fucking owe me, man. You died before giving me what I do. You should have come on this fucking show and whispered one-word things and turned into a dove and flown the fuck off. That would have been perfect. That's why I started this goddamn show. Hi. So we're still in Kuwait, ladies and gentlemen, or boys and girls, or dogs and cats, or hefes and or hafaha. I don't fuck. Why am I even doing this? That's got to be on some level offensive, right? Not racist, but like offensive to Arabs that I'm trying to do. Arabs. Look, what the fuck am I? All of a sudden, fucking Lawrence of Arabia. These Arabs. Shut up. Here I am. In Kuwait. Now let's pick up where we left off last week. First of all, remember I told you the tale of our friend Fawaz, who was dressed all sharp in his fucking black dishtasa? And, which, by the way, that's Alicia Keys' backup band. I didn't hear that. Alicia Keys and the Black Dishtasa. And then he had his little, the hat on. I forget the name of the hat. They told me the name of the hat and I forgot. But it's a hat. It's a, you know, it's the crowning achievement of the outfit. It goes over the head and there's a picture of me with it. Mine has some red in it because I thought I'd look better with the red, and I like it. Although part of me thought I'd look good in a plain one too, but I got Mex the plain one last trip that I was here. I will try not to swallow so hard. I got to admit, like I told you, when I'm alone and I'm in a fucking quiet room, I hear a lot of this. You may not have heard that. Perhaps you did. But lucky for me, I don't listen to the fucking show. But when I'm doing the show, I fucking hear it. And I hear that noise when I'm editing the show or putting, trying to marry clips together or whatever the fuck. Not marry clips. Fuck. Sometimes I have to stop talking. And then sometimes I have to start talking. And in the middle, you've got to join them together. That's what's known as marrying clips. Hi, I'm an editor. I'm a producer. I'm very talented at what I do. These are all lies, except for the talking part. But, this is funny. I'll tell you this. There's a page on Facebook that I go to. It's like a comedy page, comedy job posts page. And our good friend Adam Welker, who is looking out for me at all times, hooked me up with that page. It's a closed page. Please don't try to find it. Don't try to sign yourself up on there looking for comedy jobs. You're not going to get them. And a lot of the times the jobs people post are, they're quick ones. It's $100 to help edit something. And that's where I come to now. Someone just wrote on there. They're like, hey, I'm looking for a podcast editor to let me know your rate. And these people are like putting their names down and going, write me here, write me there. And I was almost going to throw myself in the ring. I was going to put my head in there. And I'm like, dude, you don't even like editing your own fucking show. You're going to edit somebody else's show? And plus, they probably have like GarageBand. Like, I can do Audacity. GarageBand, I can't do any of that shit. You got to call Mex at that point. But if you want me to do Audacity, I'd be happy to do it. But I don't know how these people record their shows. But there are people... Again, literally, I'm sitting in a living room in Kuwait with a laptop and a microphone, and I'm creating this for you. And I guess that kind of belittles the effort a little bit. I hope it doesn't. But at the same time, it's not all about the equipment. You got to also have the show to bring to bear on everybody. You got to be able to have content. I mean, you want to say, I'm yawning, hold on. Speaking of, isn't that great content when I yawn into the fucking microphone? I've been sleeping well. I'm a little hampered, I will tell you this. The left side of my body is an old person. The right side of my body seems to be okay. But I told you I got the left ear thing happening, and now my left knee has become full and clicking and all that kind of stuff. And so we walk, we go out, we do stuff, we wander through the desert like nomads. And I went up hobbling. And poor Ahmad is every time he's just like, "How's your knee? Your knee okay? How's your knee?" And he's just looking out for me, but I feel terrible that he has to, But it's just I'm old and have become fat. I've become refat. I'm refatted. I used to be. Remember, I lost it all, and then it all came back. But now you can join me for the next 5 months as we take it off together, right? How's that going to be? That's right, 5 months. I plan on losing all of this weight in 5 months. I'm going to lose 20 pounds a month, folks. That's how I look at it, and then I'll only have another 50 to go before I look like a fucking human being. Hi, I'm a monster. So so people producing podcasts, they're throwing it out there, and I see people all the time. They're like, "Oh man, I totally want to do a podcast, but I don't know how to do it." And I was that guy. Like I said, if Eric doesn't step up, I'm not even doing this fucking show. And then luckily Lily stepped in, and then when she decided to stop producing, she showed me how to do it, and I was like, "Oh, I could have been doing this from the fucking beginning." But then it wouldn't have been the same show. Sorry, I'm stifling yawns. Whenever there's silence, I'm stifling yawns. Whenever I'm alone and you hear silence, it's because I was yawning and I stopped it. So we're in Kuwait. And let's pick up where we left off last week. I told you about Fawaz. He was all dressed nice, and then I hit him in the face with a fucking coin. Here's an epilogue to that. Have not seen Fawaz the rest of the week. I want to think that we're okay. I want to think that we're cool because, again, he's the nicest, most gentle person in the nation. But I blasted the dude in the face with a quarter. What the fuck do you want me to do? It was like money porn. I hit him with an actual money shot. Holy shit. I blasted Fawaz with an actual fucking money shot. And there was no sense of humor about it. And I don't blame him. He was friendly to me. He was certainly very nice. He said, "Oh no, it is okay. It's all right." Like I said, I think his lip was bleeding. And then he had to eat food with the dull taste of iron in his mouth and the taste of sadness in the back of his throat because his new friend Mike from Chicago, America, he doesn't subset it. He just goes America. He doesn't think about Chicago. All he knows is American Mike hit him in the face with a fucking quarter, blasted him with a money shot, and everybody else laughed. And I felt so fucking bad. I talked about it last week. And I know I'm not supposed to because Ahmad said, "Oh, come on, it's hilarious." But now they're going to tease Fawaz about that forever. He's now, he got a fucking money shot. They're going to fucking make fun of him for it. And that's terrible. I won't be here in the nation. He's still going to have to try to live that down after he got busted in the mouth with a Kuwaiti quarter. So our friend Fawaz, I have not seen him the rest of the week. I will go on this limb. Maybe he just doesn't want me to apologize to him again because that night, if you would have seen me, I kept like touching his shoulder or grabbing his arm and just trying to convey the absolute sorrow I had. I don't know if I beat it into the ground enough last week, but I could not. Hold on. Fuck. I could not stop, going up to him and going, "Hey, dude." I'm sorry. Hold on. I might be yawning because I'm talking so much and I'm not breathing enough. Maybe that's what it is. Because, like we talked about, when I do these shows alone, I don't fucking breathe at all. When Lily's around, at least I can catch a goddamn breath. But when it's me, I unfortunately decide that I need to fill the silence Depeche Mode style. And I fucking just blam through everything. And then it turns out maybe I'm not giving my brain enough oxygen. Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe I'm just talking in circles too much and I'm not going ahead and saying exactly what I really need to do. And then my brain goes, "Hey, I'm going to take a second here and I'm going to make you fucking yawn and pause." Yawn and pause. I'm going to open a store called Yawn and Pause. It's like a yoga nap. you just fucking yawn, and when you stretch, pause, and then go to sleep. You know what? I just stretched to do that bit, and I want to yawn again because of it. Motherfucker, I made it happen. Here it comes. Oh, I'm going to talk through it because why not? Fuck. Sorry. I'm not even that tired. Like, I slept like 7 hours, but I'm still fucking upside down. Who knows? But then I get on a plane tomorrow morning because I should tell you, I'm recording this. What is it? It is Tuesday in Kuwait. Tuesday at like noon. No, it's 11. And so that means right now it's 11:30 in California, 11:30 p.m. on Monday night. And I don't even know why I fucking do this. So you can reminisce about what you were doing while I was recording this. It's fucking ridiculous. If it was live, it would make sense. Because then you'd be like, "Oh, Mike's in the future." But when you hear this, it'll be in the past. So it doesn't fucking matter. So going back to last week, like I said, I blasted Fawaz in the face with a money shot, and his friends thought it was hilarious, and now he's ditched me the rest of the goddamn week. So, because I totally went to throw it over his head. Fuck. I just want to do it. I'm going to start a podcast called Sorry Fawaz. I'll just call it that. The only thing I'm going to need is a producer. Does anybody out there know where I can advertise for one, please? I shouldn't make fun of those people. Again, like I said, I'm not doing this if Eric doesn't fucking show up. But whenever I see anybody, they're like, oh man, I totally want to do a podcast, but like, can anybody help me produce it? And then there's a fucking place in Hollywood called Nerd Meltdown. Okay. And the Nerdist is there. They're based there at Meltdown. It's a comic shop, and the Nerdist has the room in the back, and they do comedy there. I've done comedy there, as a matter of fact, and I appeared on our great friends Battleship Pretension, Tyler and David. I appeared on their show back there, and also worked as security there. I think I did. I told that story where I fucking picked up, and I picked up that security on the comedy job post page. Fuck. So there you go. I made like $150 or whatever for just watching a bunch of nerds watch movies. By nerds, they're nice people. And then, and I was the muscle, just in case a homeless dude showed up and I was going to jack him. I told that story like 12 episodes ago, 15 episodes ago. It was Halloween. So I Nerdist Meltdown, whatever the fuck. They've got a podcast studio there. And they charge you by the hour. It's like $30 an hour to go and use their space and have somebody produce the show. And I was lucky enough to have friends who showed me how to do things, I suppose. So I shouldn't cast aspersions, but to invest $60, because there's no way you're getting done in an hour. This might explain why everybody does that thing where they're like, we got to be done in an hour, and they have a clock whenever I do their shows, and I'm like, how the fuck is everybody getting the fuck out of here in an hour? You can live in the space. You can fucking cowbell the shit out of this. This is your show. Do whatever the fuck you want. Explore the space. But they decided, and look, I don't fuck with anybody else's shows. If you want to go ahead and have an arbitrary endpoint, good for you. That's fine. Sometimes I should have an arbitrary endpoint. You guys can get me at Mike and Mike Schmidt. No, that would be very arbitrary to end it right there. But also, these shows don't have 11 minutes of just talking in fucking circles about nothing right now. All I've done is recap Fawaz from last week and then nothing else. And yawn. I yawned 9 times. That's what this fucking show's been. The first 11 minutes has been me fucking recapping Fawaz getting a money shot and me yawning 9 times. That's fun. So I will tell you this again. Like I said, I have not seen Fawaz all week, but then I came back here and I did the show and I recorded the show here and I talked and I did stuff. And then the next morning, because I'm in Kuwait, this is going to be more of a recap deal, and I might spin around. Who the fuck knows? But I'm mainly just telling you what I've done because and what I've lived and what my life has been like. I need to find more ways to say that phrase. So, oh my God, there's children playing outside. I wish we could get them on. I wish we could get the microphone out the window. Also, my throat's making gurgling noises. I think it just made one. And fuck, I apologize if it's there. I'm going to write the time down here just to make sure. It was like between 10 and 12 minutes. All right, 10 minutes and 12 minutes. I think it was actually 11:40. Here's me. Again, you know what? Fuck it. I need to pay that $30 an hour just to have somebody to write notes while I fucking talk. Because I used to have Lily, but she can't come out here because they would fucking block her at the border. You can't bring those fucking weapons in this country. Guns are off limits, so they would never let Lily come in because she's loaded for bear. Hi. So last week we did the show, we recorded, and then I went out that day. That was it was Thursday here, but it was Wednesday by you, and then I had to edit and whatever the fuck. But I got picked up by our friend Ahmad, and I hustled downstairs, and I didn't know what we were doing, and he had in his car his friend. Now, his friend, he spells his name D-A-I-J. All right. Now think about to yourselves how you would pronounce that. And you're probably right. You'll probably get it right. It's Dej. Okay, that's how you pronounce his name. I don't know what that is. I think it might be the Arabic version of David, although that's a completely out of left field guess that I just created right now. But his name is Dej. But they call him Dej because that's his name, Dej. But you know what I call him, of course? Dej. Dej. I don't know why that became a thing, but you know what? Because it's of the stupid. It's like like a stupid noise, like Dej, 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 Dej. So that's our friend Dej. Dej is in the back seat, and he's never met me. And I feel bad for these dudes being relegated to the back seat while Fat American rides in the front. But at the same time, fuck you. I'm like a guy who deserves to sit in the front. I'm fat and I'm American. There you go. How's that for privilege for you? Fuck your white privilege. I'll take your red, white, and blue privilege. So I sat in the front seat, and Dej is in the back. Dej. And now I have Ahmad saying that, by the way. I hope he continues to do it to Dej, but I don't know if he will. And by the way, have not seen Daesh the rest of the week either. So I guess I shouldn't. I'm not making an impression on anybody here. Everybody's fucking ghosting me. Last time I was here, I was a novelty. Everybody came up, they laid their hands on me. They're like, oh my gosh, who's this ghost from America? And now everybody's just like, him again? I don't know if I'm really him again. That seems to make no sense. But if I am, did you hear the pen click? Because I think the show should be him again. Right now, we'll see. That's a possibility. Is that annoying? That's got to be annoying, right? When I stop the fucking showdown. See, but here's the thing: if I stop the fucking showdown and actually write the title down and then jump back in, that's a fuck ton of editing for me. You know what? Fuck. Maybe that producer thing for $30 an hour is looking like a good idea. Maybe it makes sense. Put that guy through his fucking paces. You know what? I almost want to have some fucking weirdo produce this show who's never met me before and then just look at me and go, are you going to get to a point or a story or fucking anything at this kind? What are you doing? You're just talking in goddamn circles. Yes, exactly. That's what happens when bodies start slapping and you're doing the wild thing. Ow, ow, ha. You know what? They might kick in the door here and throw me in jail just for singing that. You can't sing about the wild thing in Kuwait. She wanted to do the wild thing. All right. Ain't no plans with a man. That's Funky Cold Medina. I'm going to do Tone Loc's whole catalog. Fuck that. I just did. There's no other songs from the Tonester. I call him the Tonester because why not? But when I saw him in a mall, holy fuck, people followed him like he was Jesus coming back to whatever the fuck. I was going to say Mecca, but Jesus isn't coming to Mecca. He came to Mecca. They wouldn't let him in. They're like, sorry, buddy. Can't. We got to see 2 forms of ID. Only one deity allowed on the property at all times. And fucking Muhammad was in there already. Killing it with his boys. Boys with a Z. That's who Muhammad hangs out with at Mecca. Dude, I saw Mecca on TV. I'll tell you this. Fuck. I turned on the TV here. And this was a fucking mistake. I had some time, so I've only turned the TV on once while I was here, and I had it on for about 15 minutes. It was just enough to cycle through all the channels they had, and man, I gotta be honest with you, fuck, there's no wonder some of these people in this country are so fucking angry. There's nothing to watch on television. I want to come over here and start a TV network that just fucking soothes the savage terrorist or whoever the fuck is hanging around. Not in Kuwait, but I mean all over in the Middle East. If there's a dude who's furious and angry and he's decided he's going to join ISIS, I instead would rather have him turn on the TV and watch me cook a pork chop. Fuck, that'd be awesome. Because then he gets out all of his anger against the infidel. He's angry against pork. He sees me doing stuff and he's like, I can identify with that guy. We both hate pork. Because look at him. He's fucking cooking it. He's burning the fuck out of it. Yeah. But I won't book it. I'll make it succulent. Burn it. Book it. Succulent and juicy. What? I can't talk. But yeah, man. So I turn on the TV and I'm flipping the channels. And here's my favorite part. Paul, Paul, the dude I'm staying with. He's like, hey, you can go ahead and turn on the television. Turn on. Hold on. I got his British accent proper. All right, mate, you can go ahead and turn on the television because there's plenty of channels in there for you to see something. It's written right there in the pamphlet. He's got a book for me. So I turn on the fucking television. Dude, it's all Arab shows, and the Arab shows, it's either it's dudes sitting on a couch reading the Quran or dudes sitting around a table talking, and they're all wearing their chic outfits. And look, granted, I can't understand what they're saying, but I can't imagine it's interesting to anybody in the world. I can't imagine anybody sitting at home just watching that, except for my former mother-in-law. Because you know what? Karen's mom I told you, she would watch religious programming from noon to night, from all day. She would wake up, it would be on TV. She'd sit in a chair in front of it and fall asleep and then wake up, it was still on. There was this fucking woman named Sister Angelica who Karen loved, and I guess was like a gentle soul who painted, I don't know, like one of those fucking Julie Andrews nuns, from a ridiculous movie, saved from the Nazis and then went to a fucking hill in Sweden and taught a school full of kids and they saved the world. I don't fucking know. Then grabbed an umbrella and flew the fuck off. I may be conflagrating Julie Andrews roles. I may be. But this Sister Angelica, or Mother Angelica, that's who it was. And she would paint, and then she would read for scripture, and then she would, sing a homily and eat a piece of communion wafer and fucking, I don't know, bite Jesus. And everybody would go, yay, Mother Angelica. Not everybody, but everybody at my ex-wife's mother's house. Because it would be on all day. I would go over there Christmas, you go over there in the summer. It didn't fucking matter. Jim Baker, watch that shit. Fuck, terrible. But I would almost watch that because you could laugh at those idiots with the fucking cotton candy wigs and their bullshit about Jesus. But then when you come here and you see these dudes, because I think they're having serious and somber discussions about religious tracts. By me, they're just dummies. You know what I mean? They're just like, oh, send your money because the Lord is great. And in Deuteronomy says, don't pet your dog the wrong way because you'll wind up getting cancer of the hand. And then Jesus will take your hand and then you'll go to ascend to the throne, but you won't be able to take his hand because yours is gone. And then you'll be banished to the pit, the fiery pit forever. Send us $9. That's kind of what we watch in my house. So it's kind of silly you can make fun of it. But here, these dudes are just sitting in a room around a table talking. I don't know where I ever thought that would be a successful program. Wait a minute. All I need is a dishtasa and the Quran, and I'm those fucking dudes. Turn me on. Fuck, put a camera here in Paul's house. Not that there's not cameras here in Paul's house. Let's be honest with ourselves. I've been very careful to stay covered up. I don't want Paul to take fucking candid photos of me and throw them on the interwebs, the intertunes, the webtunes, the iPads. Fuck, my brain just fried there. The internet. I couldn't even think of the word internet. But that's what happens when he talks so fast. Trying to fill the brain oxygen, non-yawning. What? So, I watch these shows and I flip, and there's got to be 30 fucking channels of chic conversation, and that's not fun. Because I told you the last time I was here, I don't know if I talked about this on here, I turned the TV on when I stayed at the Hilton, and they had one channel that was an old-timey show. It was kind of sepia-toned, black and white. And that's fascinating to me because that I love the fact that they were making movies here in the 50s. Or, it's like when you see a Cantinflas movie from fucking Mexico and you just realize they thought they were funny. Like they were doing comedy shows back in the 50s. And yes, I guess Cantinflas is a genius. And yes, I don't need my Mexican listeners to go up and go, dude, you don't understand the subtleties of Cantinflas, as he would smile dopily and then he would bite a fucking tequila bottle and hit it with somebody. Or he'd hit the bottle with somebody. He would put the bottle on a countertop, pick a guy up, swing him from his ankles and smash the bottle. No, Cantinflas, he would confuse a general and then he would hide in a broom closet and he would make a smiley face, whatever the fuck he did. And so that apparently that passed for comedy in the 50s. But again, there was no comedy in America in the 50s either. I told you I listened to those fucking radio shows and just these, fucking I Love Lucy. What a mess. Ricky, I want to be in the band. I want to play drums. No, you must take care of our kid. Wah. Hey, Fred, you're old. There you go. Don't ever watch I Love Lucy. I just recapped it for you. Ethel is enabling Lucy. They eat a bunch of candy. Ricky goes and plays with the band. Lucy does a fucking thing with Harpo. And then Fred comes in and he's half dead all the time, wheezing. And you can see quietly Vivian Vance seething that she was paired up with that fucking old dude as her husband. She's like, I would never marry this guy. Why is Ethel married to an 85-year-old man? You had to figure there was some sort of rental agreement, right? Because they owned the building, I think, that Lucy and Ricky lived in. By the way, what the fuck's Ricky doing in an apartment? For fuck's sake, you own the Babalu Club. Build something in a loft above it, for fuck's sake. But you know why he didn't? Because he wanted to stay as far away from the Babalu Club as possible, because he wanted to make sure that Lucy did not sneak down and play the goddamn maracas one night when he was doing a show. Because he's trying to get all that fucking Babalu tail. You know that's happening. He's out there doing his fucking, he's got his narrow suit on and his crazy pointy shoes, and he's doing the best of his Cuban thing, and he's passing out fucking smoked ham sandwiches, and everybody's like, oh, Ricky, we love this man. And then Lucy wanders in with her big fucking bright red hair and her giant mouth and a hat full of candy and fucking weird horns and Harpo marks, and everybody's like, you're married to that idiot? How the fuck did that happen? You're smooth and sleek and Cuban. Oh, is it a green card thing? Like, why the fuck would that happen? But he'd be doing that. He'd be entertaining and stuff, and then she'd sneak down and play the flugelhorn or some bullshit, and then he'd have to yell. He'd have to expose his Rickiness to everybody. The hot, fiery Latino Cuban temper would come out in front of everybody who paid to get in, and he'd be like, Lucy, what are you doing with the flugelhorn? That might have been a Swedish guy. I'm not sure. I'm finding out that I'm not good at accents. At least I've been told I'm not by some people, and I'll get to that in a fucking minute. But yeah, so I don't even know how he fucking... So anyway, where's Ricky in an apartment? Because again, he doesn't want to build a suite above the Babalu because she'll sneak down and fucking play the timpani while he's doing a fucking show. She'll play some completely inappropriate instrument. All right. So anyway, these sheiks are on TV talking, and they're doing nothing, man. They're just back and forth. And again, I don't understand what they're saying because, quite frankly, I don't know. They could be debating the fucking the Avengers. I have no idea. It could be three sheik dudes holding the Quran and pointing out that somehow Muhammad is a little bit like Iron Man. I mean, that would be interesting if I could understand what they were saying, I suppose. But there's no visual thing to it. And all these dudes, look, I mean, I got a bad beard right now. By bad beard, I mean a good beard. I'm just fucking. I've dedicated myself to trying to see what it will look like, and I think I've pretty much achieved it. I will tell you this about my fucking beard. First of all, it freaks me out because it keeps touching my ears. So like when you have a turtleneck on and it's like kind of around your neck and you feel vaguely uncomfortable for some reason. Well, that's how I feel with my beard a little bit because it keeps tickling my ears, and then I reach up and I'm wondering what that is, and then I realize it's beard. But I can't pull it away from my ears because I have to push it back, but then it just springs up because hair is a mind of its own. But these dudes, I mean, there's a lot of bad beards on television here. They should tell these guys, hey, fucking Colby Rasmus, shave that goddamn beard, man. What's happening? Maybe you don't use that harsher language, but if you own the TV studio, of course you do. You're trying to get people to watch. And I'll tell you what, if you're trying to get people to watch, you do everything you can because you're just one in a sea of chic conversations. That's all that's happening. There's like 8 billion dudes out there fucking have conversations over a chic table. But you've got to do something to spice it up. So maybe that's why they go weird beard. They're like, fuck it. Let's give these guys weird beards and people will tune in. And then it just turns into a fucking topiary contest at that point. It's like in America, we have those fucking stupid beard championships. I talked about them on here once before. Well, I mean, out here, man, that's just real life. These guys, this is a walk. This town's a seething beard contest. All right, we're writing that down now. Hold on. Seething beard contest. All right. You guys have tuned into this free show to hear a man do dictation. I just dropped my pen. And I literally, I'm going to take the microphone with me. I'm going to get up. We are standing up from the table. We are leaning over now. Careful not to bump the tapestry and grabbing the pen. Okay, and now we're going to sit down. This is more exciting than me telling you about me writing. All right. So the chic shows are a bust, and there's a million of them on. They had a couple of fucking basketball games that I just crumble the rug? I might have. They have a couple of basketball games on, but again, it's no dudes that you know. And there was a soccer game on that looked like it was from the Kuwaiti soccer field, but it might not have been. It was just some nondescript Arab nation. And we are all a part of the Arab nation. We are a part of the Arab nation. And Janet Jackson's our leader in her military garb. And she leads us into battle, and then she hides because she's rich, and she lets the cannon fodder, all the dancers. If there was truly a war, if the Rhythm Nation went to war, let's talk about this. If the Rhythm Nation went to war, Janet Jackson leads them into battle, but then she conveniently ducks around the back while the dancers take the brunt of it, right? I mean, because they are the true grunts of the Rhythm Nation, all the dancers, all the musicians, and then Janet goes and runs to a palace and hides, hoping that she can just get some word on a scroll that they wound up taking over when they won with the Rhythm Nation. Who would they fight? I don't know. So the Sheiks are there, and they're doing their shows, and they're not fun. They're bad. So I flipped channels. That was the only time I had the TV on the whole time I was here. But when I was here the last time, fuck, dude, I found this old school channel, and it was the black and white. And this is my favorite thing I think I've ever seen in my life. And I told him about it, and he's like, "What?" It was Sheiks. And they were having they were in this like formal gathering, and then all of a sudden it flipped to a barn, and then it came back, dude. All of a sudden, I don't even know, because again, I'm not hearing the dialogue. I don't know what's happening. All I know is out of nowhere, chic pie fight breaks out. A fucking dude, Sheiks in chic outfits with the dishdasa and the fucking hat on and the crazy beard, and they just had one of those old school like Three Stooges pie fights with the paper plates with the cream, like just piles of whipped cream on it, because it's not. They weren't real pies. Nobody's baking real pies for that. I yawned right in the middle of baking. Nobody's baking real pies for that fucking thing. So it's just piles of whipped cream that they're hitting each other in the face with. And it was a chic pie fight, dude. It was my favorite thing ever. I was like, I wish I could tape it. I wanted to find out what it was. Again, I can't because it's Arabic or whatever the fuck. And there's no TV guide that says, "Oh, chic pie fight." Or, you know what I mean? The lemon meringue halal. There was nothing that said anything like that. That didn't happen. That makes me laugh. Because honestly, I would have scanned the TV guide just looking for that. I'm like, all right, Quran, beards, lemon meringue halal. There you go. That was the chic pie fight. So I loved the chic pie fight when I saw it. So I thought I'd get lucky this time and flip through. And there was one channel from the 70s. That was fascinating to me. You know me, I like school. So when I come on here, I love to learn about stuff. So there was a channel from the 70s and it had stuff, and it was it was these dudes, because it was 1977. So I thought, man, I'm 10 years old and these guys are here. And they were talking about energy and how to make energy happen. And I don't know, they just kept showing oil and dudes and lightning bolts and then sabers. Although I will tell you this, I turned on one channel. This is how I started this whole fucking thing. I turned on a channel, and there was just this giant cube, or maybe an obelisk. It was this really tall, huge structure, and it was monstrous. But even weirder was, not weirder, more amazing, I should say that. But it was definitely different from anything I've seen. It had to have, 5,000 dudes all walking around it in a circle. They're all in their chic outfits, and there is a dubbed in call or song. Like kind of that, like that sort of thing. And I may have, I hope I didn't say anything bad because again, that was loud and they may kick in the door in for that. I just did that actually, you know what that was? That was Funky Cold Medina. I ain't no plans with a man. Making myself laugh in an empty building for no reason. All right. I need $50 to make you holler. I get paid a new while. I don't care if you hate it. It's making me laugh. All right, so stupid. I almost wish I knew more songs of his. I would do all of them. All right. There's nothing quite like it, right? All right, so the what was I talking about? Chic pie fight. Fucking Tone Loc. Oh, some of these dudes are they're walking around the monolith. And I was fascinated by that. That I left on for a while. That was the channel I left. Because it was just that crazy view, that crazy sight of at least 5,000 dudes just walking in a circle around this monolith. I didn't know what the fuck it was. So when I get in the car, I said to Ahmad, I said, man, I'm flipping the channels. It's fucking nothing. It's just all sheiks talking. He's like, yeah, they're generally talking about religious stuff, or they're talking about healthcare, or I go, are they talking about the Jews? And he goes, I don't know, maybe. I said, all right, I don't know. Just they all seemed very, they were very concerned about some things. I'm just wondering if the Jews, or if there's something I need to watch the news about, because these dudes were having a long talk, and I thought I heard the word Jews. It might have been a guy sneezing. I don't know. And Amon's just like, all right, fella. So he was like, they may be talking about the Jews. So that I got to tell you, that's a possibility. He couldn't rule it out. I tried to pin him down. He couldn't rule it out. So I told him, I go, dude, I turned on one channel. Because here's the thing, why this made such an impression on me. Because, we're told in America that Muslims are dangerous and Muslims are so different from us and they are the other and they are the thing we need to watch out for and we need to be scared. And when I turned on that television station and I saw at least probably 5,000 Muslims walking in a circle around this structure, I could imagine somebody from Kentucky or Alabama or even some parts of California, from anywhere in the United States, anyone who finds themselves in a position where the other is different or scary, who does not have a lot of life experience and realize that all of us are just fucking human beings who are breathing and trying to get by in this goddamn world, and why the fuck should we hate one another for no reason? But if someone else turned on their TV and they saw that, someone who is maybe less apt to cut a little slack to different cultures, they would see what I saw and they would be scared out of their fucking mind. Because it truly was. It was like 5,000 dudes, and you got to imagine the discipline required for them all to be basically wearing the religious garments, or I don't know if the Das is really religious, but these guys were wearing additional robes and things, and they were walking in circles around this structure. I didn't know what it was, so I said to Ahmad, "It's fascinating to me." I said, because I turned on a channel. And it would be, if you saw this in America, if there were some people, certain people saw this in America, they'd lose their fucking mind. Like, this is the kind of thing they would use in a propaganda film to warn people about the coming menace of Muslims and what they could do to us. Sharia law, the creeping Sharia law, and the things that are going to be terrible, and when they take over, and, because you would show them 5,000 people walking in a circle in this one particular spot, and it looks very regimented, it looks very disciplined, and if you don't know what's being said or sung, you could use it for nefarious reasons and convince people it was something that was bad. So I said to Ahmad, it was amazing to me to see this scene that I turned on. I go, I don't even know what it was. It was a bunch of dudes, like 5,000 guys, and they're walking in circles around a thing. And he looks at me and he goes, that's Mecca. I said, really? And he goes, yeah, that's Mecca. That's the pilgrimage to Mecca. And I was blown away because for a couple of reasons. One, I didn't even know Mecca there was an end goal. You know what I mean? I thought Mecca was just an area, because they always say facing towards Mecca. I guess I thought Mecca was almost like the cross, you know what I mean? Just a symbol of that religion. So I didn't know Mecca was I knew it was a place, but I didn't know it was a place that was still hallowed ground, celebrated, and that's where they were. I guess it's like I guess the Vatican. I'm betraying myself here. I knew Mecca was a place. but I guess I didn't think that it was something where I didn't know enough about it to know that it was such an end game or where an end game. There's a final boss there, Muhammad. You got to defeat him to get in. He's rough. Don't kid yourself. You think Resident Evil 7 is hard? Holy fuck! Try to speed run Mecca. He's like, yeah, that's Mecca. And he goes, man, he goes, you think that's something? He goes, Google. He gave me the dates in September. When it's not the end of Ramadan. I forget the fuck. He told me. He's like, go ahead and Google this. And it might have been Ramadan, the end of Ramadan. I Googled it, and they'll get 1.5 million people there. Like I said, I saw it's got to be 5,000 people walking in a circle, and the song is playing and the chanting, and that would be enough to probably frighten some people. But then when you think about it, it's like, why? It's just because you don't understand it. You don't understand that religion. Like maybe if you showed Muslims, fucking 5,000 people screaming like idiots around a cage at the UFC, would they be just as fucking freaked out? Would they be as scared? And would you, because you just go, oh, well, that's a fight or whatever, but you see the religious thing and it brings in this whole nefarious thing because you don't understand Muslims or their customs, their cultures. Well, maybe they don't understand that we like beating the fuck out of one another in a goddamn cage sometimes. Or they don't understand why 5,000 people are watching American football people run head first and turn their brains into fucking applesauce. Maybe that's a question. It's just interesting what people choose to take as scary or nefarious, and when you find out that is literally their most glorious celebration. That is, when you going to Mecca is it's a pilgrimage, and Ahmad has done it. He told me about it because I asked him. I go, could I do it? And he said, well, you don't want to do it. And I said, no, I would want to do it. Like, what would I do? And I said, would they be mad at me? Like, would I have to get snuck in? He's like, well, no. And I said, well, I'd have to wear the robes and stuff. He goes, absolutely. And he goes, but when you go in, you have to walk around Mecca. I think he said it was 5 times, and then you have to run back and forth on another thing, and then you have to climb a mountain. It's these pilgrimages he told me about, and he's done a couple of them. He's gone to Mecca with his family and done that, but he didn't do the full one, which is the one where you scale the mountain and stuff. I don't think he did. But I said, well, could I do it? And he's like, well, you wouldn't want to do it. I said, well, no, I'd want to do it, but could I? And he's like, I don't know. Yes, I think so. I said, would you have to sneak me in like Garp? And he's like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. I go, there's a movie called World According to Garp, Robin Williams. He goes, you know what? I must have seen it. He goes, I binge watched a bunch of fucking Robin Williams when I was in America. I said, he's like a wrestling coach, and I didn't want to say his wife bit a guy's cock off because that really it doesn't inform the story so much. But I'm like, he's a wrestling coach and he falls in love with this woman, and then he has kids, and then he winds up meeting Keith. What's funny? He doesn't. He winds up meeting John Lithgow, who is a transvestite who used to be a tight end for the Philadelphia Eagles. Do you want to know why I said Keith? Because Keith Krepfle was a tight end for the Philadelphia Eagles in the 80s, and I always associate his name with John Lithgow. Like whenever John Lithgow says that line, I think of Keith Krepfle. So I almost said it there for you guys. Krepfle, look him up. He was in the Super Bowl in 1980 with the Eagles against the Raiders. Can you hear call to prayer? Maybe not. Paul has really tight windows here, really good windows. So it winds up that Ahmad has been to Mecca, and he said that I probably could go because then I had to explain to him in Garp that they had to, because I also didn't want to give away too much if he hadn't seen the movie. So I said, well, at the end of the movie, someone passes away, and Garp wants to go to their funeral, but he's not allowed, so he has to dress up like a lady to get in. And he goes, oh, I go, so but I have to dress up like a lady to get into fucking Mecca? And he's like, yeah, probably not. Although I'd be willing to do it. I'd fucking Bugs Bunny rabbit pink dress fucking sashay in with a turnkey in my back the shit out of that place, and just see if everybody stopped dead in their tracks and watched me and followed me off the mountain. That might happen. I'm sexy, and I know it. So fuck, I haven't even gotten to what I did. And Jesus, I got to get out of here soon. All right, so listen to me. This is all right. Bottom line, we went out that day. I get in there with Daesh. And me and Ahmad, and we go for lunch. And I was like, where are we going? He said, we're going to Fish House. So I'm excited to go to Fish House. And it was a place that had, we go in and we sit down. And I will tell you this, when I first walked in, I don't remember why the valet, he thought, did he think I was a wrestler, or did he thought I looked like a wrestler? Or did I say something? I don't know. He just, because I was a big American guy. So when he made it, you know what he did to me? This is the weirdest thing. He found out I was American and he made the John Cena gesture, like in front of his face. And I go, oh, can't see me. And then like we had this bond immediately. Like he knew wrestling and I knew wrestling, that dude. It was very strange. And then we went and sat outside. And I should tell you this. It's been sort of warm here. It's like 72. But that day, for some reason, there was a breeze and I wore shorts. And I was like, man, it's a little nippy. But I didn't give a fuck. We sat out on the patio. And it's just me and Ahmad and Daesh. And we ordered lunch. And it was, like a pomegranate cucumber salad. And then I asked for some hummus. And they brought the hummus out. That was great. And then he ordered fish. Now, he said, I'm going to order like a fried fish and I'm going to order a grilled fish. And they put a spice rub all over the grilled fish, but it's really good. So, they order and I eat. That's how it works. Because I don't fucking know how to say anything. But the only thing I do know how to say is fucking Vimto. Because he's like, what do you want to drink? Vimto. And they had it, thankfully. Because I found this out. Not everybody has Vimto. Because it's like an old school drink here. They've gone to full on fountain drinks. They got 7-Up and Pepsi and Mountain Dew and all that stuff. But Vimto is it's a coin flip. You might get it, you might not. So we sat at the table and we talked, and there were sheiks everywhere. And then there were people, and they started bringing the food out, not ours, but other people's. And I went, Jesus. I mean, it was gigantic. It was a fish the size of a fucking manhole cover. I mean, it was so fucking gigantic. I'm like, what kind of fish is this? And he's like, spleh. And I'm like, what does that mean? Is that flounder? Is that trout? What is it? And he's like, yeah, spleh. So I still don't know what fucking kind of fish it was. They bring our food out, and it took a while. What was the first thing? They brought out the pomegranate salad. Oh, and then they brought out the flatbread. Dude, the never-ending fucking flatbread is so goddamn good in this country. They just keep bringing out warm flatbread. You tear it off, you dunk it. They have, they bring you hummus that you can dunk it in. They bring you fucking yogurt stuff. Oh, it's so good. Dude, this whole country is filled with breads and sauces. Love it. And I'm not even a sauce guy. You know me, but hummus, forget it. Like the yogurt shit, all that stuff I can leave behind. But hummus, dude, I'd eat fucking hummus on a work boot. I don't give a fuck. You can get an old fucking album, like an old 33, like a big fucking a long play. Go get an LP and just fucking cover it in hummus. I'd bite the shit out of it. I don't care. That's perfect. So we're there, and we're outdoors. And again, it's that thing where I'm always surprised. Like I said, I'm American, and I'm accepted. Nobody really looks twice at me, even though there's no other Americans. We barely see them. We saw one blonde kid in a car. We saw a couple of blonde kids girls at a coffee shop. But for the most part, it's fucking me. That's it. And they finally bring the fish out. Dudes, it was this. The fried fish, like I said, is about as big as a manhole cover. I mean, it's so huge. But then the grilled fish, it looked like the end of a snow shovel. The business end of the snow shovel. I mean, it was fucking gigantic. And the best part is like the little teeth are still in it. It's a whole fish, man. They just took it and they grilled the fuck out of it. They kind of fillet it down the middle and they stuff it with like herbs and butter and fucking garlic and lemon. And then they put this real kind of harissa. I don't even want to say harissa. It's more of a za'atar. Like there's this spice rub on the outside. But I have a photo of it. I'll put it up on social media. They put the tomato, like they put a whole fucking, this will show you how big this fucking fish is. They put a whole fucking tomato on his face where his eye should be. So he's got the little mouth there. You can see his little teeth, and then he's got a tomato eye. It's fucking creepy, but awesome looking and effective. And they bring out the flatbread, and all you do, again, like I said, man, you can have forks and shit in this country, but mainly what they do is they bring out the bread, and you use the bread to pick everything up. So there's the fried fish, and it had a little fork with it, but again, you just dive in with your fucking hands and you tear the shit out of everything. So we ate the fried fish. It was so damn good. And then the spicy fish, we flipped it over to show the inside, like where the pin bones and stuff were. And I'm a maniac because I grab the flatbread and I scoop it up and I put hummus and lemon on it and I bury it in my mouth. And then I don't know if you know this about fish. I seem to forget it in my haste. They have bones. Were you aware of that? Did you know that fish have an internal skeleton? They have an internal skeletal structure that you should probably avoid putting in your mouth at all costs because otherwise it winds up like you're eating a comb. So I did. It was a delicious comb. There's no doubt about that. But I wound up biting. But I will say this: I'm very adept. I did not get hurt. I'm as a child, I was always aware of the pin bones, and so I eat fish kind of in a soft manner. I almost tongue fish. I don't really, but I don't just like chomp. Because you have to eat the bread, but then the fish, I'll totally, when it's in my mouth, I'll do the tongue pass through it, and then I'll pick out the bones. I have a nimble tongue, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. I have a very adept tongue. So whether it's picking bones out of fish or other things you might use your tongue for, I'm very good at it because I've had lots of years of practice. I enjoy it. Let's put it this way. I don't even say that I'm very good at it. I want to say that I really fucking enjoy it. How about that? I'm all mouth. We know this. So I put it in my mouth and I'm eating the hummus and the bread and I'm picking out the bones and then I'm pulling them out and they're these little fucking mini switchblades and and both fucking Daesh and Ahmad are just they go bone and I go mm-hmm. And I guess I was making a furrowed brow because look, when you're doing the work, you got the tongue rolling, you got to make the face. So I've got the tongue sorting through all the fish, and then I'd pull out a fucking bone, and both of them would just go yee because it was 3.5 inches. That seems long. It probably was not that long. That would be a bizarre creature of the sea. It was more of an inch long, of a bone, or 1.5 inches, and I'd pull it out of my mouth. 3.5. Where the fuck did I get that from? If I get anything longer than 3.5 inches in my mouth, things have changed in my life. Let's go ahead and put it that way. So I'm sorting through, we're eating, and it's outside and the wind is picking up, but I didn't give a fuck. It just felt great. You're sitting out in the sun and there's sheiks everywhere and it's a different vibe. Look, I love sitting outside anyway and eating. I love eating, period, wherever the fuck you are. But I guess it was just the whole atmosphere of hearing different languages and smelling different spices, and you're in a different place. But you're, again, like I've always said, the same but different. You're enjoying dinner just outside with friends. It just so happens that all of these people are speaking a different language and there's different smells in the air, and it's great. It was so fucking great. And I will tell you this too, we're outside. Now in Los Angeles this happens, but not so aggressively. And certainly not the way it happened here. We're eating, and out of nowhere, we're eating fish, we're talking, and a little girl, she's probably 7. She walks up to the table, and she had a handful of, it looked like seeds. I don't know what the fuck it was. And she spoke in Arabic. But I will tell you this, not a very effective salesperson, if that's what she was trying to do. But she came up and she kind of had her head bowed and she's staring at the fish rather than making eye contact with us. She was, she was staring right into the tomato eye. Oh my God, head down, directly staring at the tomato eye. And now that I think about it, because we politely said no, and she moved on to another table. Perhaps she wasn't even talking to us. Perhaps she was trying to sell seeds to the tomato eye fish. She had a sales pitch directly designed for a cooked fish, and he didn't respond. Which I don't blame him. You know what I mean? He's doing his job there. He's at work. He's at work getting eaten. All of his bones are being spit out onto the table. Perhaps he's not in the mood to buy any seeds now, girl. Move on. But it was so weird that she came directly up to our table from the outside, through the patio. And then she went to every table in the restaurant looking for money, looking to fucking sell whatever she was selling or at least get money. Because I asked Ahmad, this cracks me up about Ahmad. People will speak in Arabic or there'll be a sign or something. And I'll be like, what does that say? He's like, nah, I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean? You heard them. You heard what they said. And then he'll tell me what it was. It's almost like it's too much for him to stop and go, here's the phrase. He'll eventually tell me because I'll ask like a second time. If he sees a sign, he'll read it to me right away. But sometimes even he doesn't know what the sign says. Like yesterday, he had to Google something from a sign that we saw. And it's prosperity and blessings because stuff has different. Dude, listen to this. The Arabic word for north is the same as the Arabic word for left. Now, ask me again why fucking traffic is so bad in this goddamn part of the world. Nobody knows where the fuck they're going. So, I mean, even the map is trying to say things, and if it says it in Arabic, he's just like, I don't even know what the fuck that means. Like north, left, north. And when I found that out, I was like horrified. But it makes a lot of sense because, dude, just driving in this country, Ahmad tells me, he's like, don't worry about it, man. He goes, I've been to terrible places. I've been to, in Central America and stuff where people are going to die like at any moment. It's so bad. But then you get here, they have roundabouts. And I talked about roundabouts in Wisconsin when I'd visit Jill. They had roundabouts that would go, there's a flow of traffic and you have to kind of yield, but then you jump in and you move around and you exit when you got to exit. It makes sense, but at the same time, if you're not paying attention, it can be tremendously dangerous. A few times I'd be in the car with Jill and we'd fucking try to merge and I'd have to get over and she'd be like, honey, no, and tell me to go whichever way. But that was there. And it was okay because I guess people were paying attention and didn't care about their bashing their cars. They were actually worried about bashing their cars into one another because here it appears to me that nobody gives a fuck. I mean, I've seen dash cam shit from Russia. I told you I've seen Thailand, all the traffic there with guys on bikes with a fucking wallaby in the fucking basket and they're driving. They can't see the road and they pull out in front of trucks. I mean, it's fucking insane. But here, people make left-hand turns from the right lane with regularity and impunity. They don't give a flying fuck who's there. They don't care who's driving in a circle. They don't care who's next to them at all. They just kind of cut. So then a roundabout, instead of being just a normal roundabout, becomes a bananas figure 8. because you're trying to go, you have to go to the right, and then these dudes come over and they cut double across you, and a truck will come over and cut everybody off, and people will honk. I'm shocked that first of all, that we've not been in an accident, and that we've not seen any real accidents here. Because people are constantly cutting across, and especially this holiday weekend, man, people were driving in circles and fucking, we were coming to a stoplight at one point. There's a guy with a truck. He's got a full-on Kuwaiti flag just flying from the back. And it's a four-way stop. So when it comes to him, he pulls out into the intersection, and then he didn't care that there were other cars there waiting. He just fucking did donuts right in the middle of the intersection with his flag flying because it was the holiday. Woohoo, Kuwait! Look at me do fucking donuts. And he had a giant fucking like a Nissan Titan, and he's just spinning around and burning the fuck out, and smoke is flying off of his tires and filling the whole intersection. And then fucking Mia showed up and did a song. All she wanted to do was ding ding ding. All right, so all I wanted is that. Ching, shing, the gun crack and the coins. Fuck, I totally was in my head for a second. So he's doing donuts in a four-way stop. And by the way, when I say four-way stop, that just means 4 cars are stopped. Nobody has to fucking stop. Ahmad regularly goes through stop signs. Doesn't even hint, slow down. I go, dude, that's a fucking stop sign. And he goes, yeah. He goes, stop signs are more of a, like kind of a suggestion in this country. And I'm like, I doubt that. I really doubt that. Because once you get plowed into from somebody, you can't just go, hey, it was suggested that I stop at the intersection, but instead I decided to pull out in front of you and get mashed. But he continues to do so with me in the car. He doesn't realize the precious American cargo that he carries, but and we've soldiered on. We have not been in any trouble. We haven't hit any accidents. So we're at lunch, we're eating, and then this woman comes along. She tries to sell our fish some seeds. It doesn't happen. She moves over. We finish eating. Took off. The guy gave me the note. You can't see me on the way out. And I had to use the restroom. Kuwait is a great place. I love it. I love the people. I love a lot of the structures. I love all of the places we've gone. I've gotten along well with everybody. I will tell you this. If they hired me in any capacity to come here and improve something, it would be the public restroom situation. The night, I didn't tell you this. The night we went to the movies, I don't know if I'll tell you this. Fuck. I wound up getting kind of a stomach thing. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened, but all of a sudden I was like, something's up. I think it was because I had flown for 2 days and, whatever the fucking eating on the plane and eating curry masala and the other stuff. And then we came here and we had the food there, the machbous. And so I was a little hinky and I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to throw some water in my face and use the restroom because I had to use the restroom before we drove home. But when I walked into this fucking, and again, everybody here, this is the thing I don't understand. It's just dudes, they're wearing sandals and they're walking into the, you walk into the public restroom, there's one urinal, if you're lucky. Otherwise, they have water closets, which are just stalls, but with actual doors that close behind you. There's no understall. You're in a room. And it's needed because when you go in there, there's a toilet, but it doesn't have any seat or lid. And then there's a hose, which I guess is technically a bidet, but it's one you hold yourself for. And I got to be honest, man. You know me, I don't use public restrooms for that sort of business anyway, unless it's a fucking emergency. Like, I'd have to be fucking collapsing. I'd have to have weak knees or an exploding liver to go ahead and fucking defile a public restroom with me and whatever's inside me at that point. But these guys, I don't know if they do it regularly or how they do it, but dude, they're all wearing like long pants and long dishtasas. I don't know how they then grab the hose and give a quick 1-2 to the undercarriage and walk back out into the mall without getting fucking soaked. It makes no sense. I almost, it's funny, part of me wants to watch it, and I know that's fucking terrible, and I can't even imagine what it would be like if I went in and I started offering Kuwaiti dinar to watch a guy hose off his ass, just to see how it's done, like some sort of lesson, so I know, A, how to do it, and B, what I never want to do in my entire life ever again. It's just, I'm fascinated by it, I'm curious of it, but at the same time, I want to be nowhere near it, but I still would like to know how they pull it off. But at the same time, man, I got to tell you, not all of them are pulling it off. The wet part is on them. I mean, I don't see a lot of guys walking around with a soaking dishtasa. Nobody's fucking dripping when they walk out of there. But when I went into this mall restroom, I was looking for a place to use the restroom because there was no urinal, and I went into the first water closet, and I mean, it was filled with feces. I can't lie to you. It was just this, whoever this person was, they had some sort of extinction level event in their colon, and they just decided to drop death from on high all over the goddamn bathroom. I mean, the toilet, the floor, even the hose. It was on some of the hose. And there's no out of order sign, and there's fucking janitors in there. So I opened the door. I swear to God, I opened the door, and I'm like, whoa! Like, it was just because it looked like a potbelly pig had exploded. That's what it looked like, because it was kind of like pinkish brown. It was all over the fucking joint. It's on the toilet. It's on the floor. And I looked at the janitor. It's an Indian dude and a Pakistani dude. And I opened the door. I go, whoa! And they kind of laughed, like, and I looked at them and I go, yeah, fellas, you gonna take care of this? And they just kind of like, they talked among themselves. They didn't say anything. And I had more urgent matters to take care of. I couldn't deal with the fact that a shit balloon had gone off in that fucking place, whatever the fuck it was. Some kind of shit. They had you know what it looked like? There's a scene in Lethal Weapon where Mel Gibson is being hanged by his wrists and Endo is hitting him with the fucking electricity, and he's just wearing jeans. He's literally shirtless. Mel Gibson's getting tortured by a fucking Asian stock actor who's in every 80s movie, who's fucking getting him wet and then hitting him with electricity to fucking fry him. I imagine the inside of Mel Gibson's trousers looked like this restroom, because there's no way he was able to hold his shit while Endo's blasting him with the current. So I fucking avoided the Lethal Weapon water closet and went to another one, and there's just water everywhere. This is the thing. It doesn't even have to be waste. That one had waste, which is fucking disgusting. But other bathrooms you go into, there's water all over the place. I mean, it's just fucking soaked, and it's because they're using a hose to wash themselves off. I mean, you go in to take a piss, and then they wind up taking a fucking shower, or what the fuck? Or these guys take a shit, or they use the fucking hose? I don't know, man. But like I said, part of me is so curious. I want to pay to see it. But then a part of me is just like, yeah, I don't ever want to fucking see that happen in a billion years. I got no interest. So I finally found, and the thing is, you're going to make fun of me. I brought 2 pairs of shoes here. I brought Nikes that have holes in them, and then I brought a pair of brown, these shoes I've talked about on the show before. I got them for Karen found them for $5 somewhere, and I love them. They're great, but you can't get them wet because they'll stay wet for 3 weeks. They're just those kind of shoes. They're not protected like Nikes. They're like cloth. So I didn't wear those when we went out, but I had my Nikes with the holes in them. And the holes are not on the soles, which is fine. The holes are on the sides. But if the water gets up, splashes or even like an inch and a half, I'm going to get wet socks. And fuck, it's a bathroom. I don't know what the fuck is on the floor in there. I'm sure it's just water, but it's also, what used to be an Arab lunch. I mean, it's all over the fucking place. And it's going to get on my sock. And then that sock's got to go in my glove compartment. No, it's not. It's got to go in my suitcase. Why the fuck would it go in my glove compartment? See, this is what happens when you're talking fast and your brain has a freak out. But yeah, those socks, maybe I thought of socks and gloves. Could that be why I made that connection? I don't know. But my sock, it's got to go in my suitcase, and then I got to fly for 19 hours while that's germinating in there. And who the fuck knows, man? I got 3 socks with fucking former Arab lunch on it and water, and then I open it up, and maybe it's like an MRE that just shows up in my fucking, it's like a weird Machboost MRE that shows up in my suitcase. I open it up, my socks have gotten together, and they conspired to make me an Arab lunch overseas while it was on the fucking plane, because the altitude, the germs, and the moisture may have blended together, and then I open it up, and I got a whole fucking roast lamb in my goddamn suitcase. I can't have that, because it used to be a lamb, but it's not a lamb now. It's some fucking unholy creature. So so these public restrooms are just terrible. I mean, I ducked into the one when I was at the fucking fish house, and again, water everywhere. It's because they use a hose. I understand it's their custom and their tradition, but I don't know, man. Because it seems like to me, if you need a bidet to get stuff done, then put a bidet in. The one where you can actually sit on it and it just fucking blasts you like Old Yeller. Or not Old Yeller. Fucking, who the fuck is the one in Yellowstone? That's why, because Old Yeller, Yellowstone. Jesus Christ. I might be having a stroke. I can't make these fucking connections. Old Faithful. There you go. Not Old Yeller. Let Old Faithful blast you in the ass. Yeah, do that. Just fucking pull up your dish DOS up around your neck, sit down fucking naked on the goddamn toilet, let go, and then fucking boom, push a button, and then get Old Faithful all the way up into your goddamn lungs. That's perfect. You're clean, everybody's happy, and there's not a giant mess for the American to wander into with his holy Nikes after that. So we leave the fish joint, and we get in the car. I asked Daesh about where he worked. He worked at the Ministry of Planning. And I did not know what that was, but I also didn't want to be the guy who asked him what it was. I kind of did, and I said, "Are you like so?" Because anything, if you work at a ministry of anything, you sound important, and that's what I said to him. I'm like, "Dude, how important are you?" And he's like, "Nah, I work in the front. I work in the very." And I'm like, "No, dude, are you planning everything? Is that the thing? Are you planning all of the stuff in Kuwait?" No, because they think I'm a goof whenever I talk. So we drove, and then we had to dump Daesh. We had to drop him off, and then I have a list of things I wanted to do while I was here. But I'm also just I'm playing it by ear because, like I said last week, this is a cool ass trip and it's fun and there's things I want to do and things I want to see and things I want to jump into right away and have fun doing. But at the same time, I just want to see my friends. Like, these guys are all great. I love hanging out with them. And so I wind up doing a lot of the time, I just defer to them. Whatever they want to do, we're going to do. You know, I tell Ahmad, I go, look, I'd like to do this. I'd like to do this. I'd like to try this while I'm here. And if we can make it happen, great. But if not, then we'll just hang out and have a good time. Because I'm not here to make demands. I'm here to, and I'm not here to start no trouble. I can tell you that. I'm just here to do the Super Bowl shuffle. Because I'm LA Mike and I play it cool. So I come here and I that's what I do. Whatever we wind up doing is great. I don't have a problem with it. So that, like I said, when I first came here, we went to Lego Batman. We just hung the fuck out. We went to eat dinner. And then after we dropped off, he's like, we're going to go to the hangout. The guys asked me to bring you to the hangout. I said, well, what's the hangout? He goes, well, what do you think it is? I'm like, fuck you, you dick. Of course, it's the hangout. It's where they hang out. So I didn't know if it was a public place or what it was. He's like, no, man, it's my fucking buddy's basement. We're just going to fucking hang out. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm in. It sounded like fun. It was great. And I said, well, there are things on my list, like I mentioned. If there's a way, any way at all, I could possibly ride a camel. I would love to do that. We talked about other places to go and visit. There's towers. And he said, well, you know what? Actually, there might be camels out by the hangout. Like, we might be able to get you in there. And I said, dude, I would fucking love it. He goes, I said, because I don't even need to ride the fucking thing. I just need to get on it and fucking saddle up and then get some photos and we'll get out of there. I mean, riding it, it all depends. I mean, but maybe I'll ride it. We'll see what goes on. But the whole point is it's a photo op. That's what I want to do. I want to ride a camel for a photo op. So we go driving and we're out in the, there's a really tight version of Kuwait City. I think I told you about where there's tons of stuff and buildings and skyscrapers and then torn up palaces and then regular palaces and big giant fucking houses and tiny little sheds and Indians and Pakistanis sweeping up rubble in the street and then putting it off on another side so they can sweep it up the next day because they want to look fucking productive for their owners. And I say their owners and I don't say that lightly because apparently when you come to this country, you have to give your passport to your boss. How fucking crazy is that? When you come to town, if you're an Indian or a Pakistani, it's their way of controlling. Because I was having a talk with Aman about how, I will tell you this, Fawaz and Abdullah, the first thing they said when they met me, they went, how is Trump? Like, that is the first thing they ask. It's almost like they've, for so many years, they've had to hear about how great America is and how everybody's all, America's badass. So now they get to laugh at it. And I don't fucking blame them, seriously. And I know, some of you out there don't agree with that. Fine, I understand. But how is Trump? And I'm like, well, you guys are never going to find out. Unless you watch the fucking news, because none of you dudes are ever getting in that fucking country again. And they laugh. But I say it's embarrassing. You know what I mean? It's terrible because, I'm here enjoying my time in a Muslim country and making friends and eating their food and seeing their customs and having a fucking balls out fun time. And not only that, I'm also participating in my customs. Like I said, I'm in the car listening to fucking Kiss with Ahmad. I mean, it's all the same. It's just a little different. So he and I are talking about immigration in this country and how they control it. And the way they control it is anybody who comes in from the outside. Like I said, these Kuwaitis don't do any labor. They have all these Indians and these Pakistanis and these Sri Lankans and these Moroccans and these Germans and these Eurasians. None of that is true. But the Sri Lankans, all those people, he said they come here and they have a boss and they have to turn their passport over to the boss so they don't just disappear into the fucking country. Which I guess that seems a little draconian even to me, but also it works. I guess that's the way it works out. And these people are more than happy to do it because they come over here and they make money and they're able to send it home and they're able to make a living. But it just turning over your fucking passport, because we've always been told turning over a passport, turning over your license or whatever, that's bad. Don't do that. If they ask for it, don't do it. But here, fuck yeah. Hey, what do you want me to, you want me to fucking work a cash register in a grocery store? Here's my passport. Take it immediately, please. Take my entire identity so I can sell somebody some dish soap. That'd be fantastic. I don't want to escape your country. I'm just going to stay here forever and make sure that people buy fucking plastic bags and harissa from me. I have no idea if there was harissa on sale. There's a lot of saffron on sale. Last time I was there, I bought some saffron. No saffron this time on this trip. I looked, I thought, pondered, I held. You know what I did get? Fuck, we went to the grocery store. Ahmad is like, dude, you got to get this. And he hands me a fucking stick. But it's wrapped up. It looks like a Slim Jim. You know how the Slim Jim has that packaging? It's like tiny and it's got that real kind of vacuum sealed packaging. Okay, imagine that, but it wasn't meat. It was just a fucking stick. And I'm like, what's this for, dude? He said, it's for your teeth. I said, well, I don't, yeah, but in what context? He goes, oh yeah, you like chew on it. It like cleans your teeth. And again, that just seems like something from the 19th century, but they sell it and it may be from the 19th century. That's the thing. It may have actually hung around since the 19th century, but then they went, you know what? This is a good idea. Let's stick with this. And now, you know what? Some guy out there went and cut down some trees and said, I'm going to make $1 million selling chew sticks to fucking humans. Because that's a dog thing, man. Fucking seriously. Shun that shit. Throw it out the fucking window. You don't need to be chewing on sticks. That seems like the kind of shit you'd do if you were in country. You know what I mean? Like if you were like in Vietnam, something just to pass the time. There's one kid with a harmonica and then you just pick up some sticks and whittle them and then turn them into punji sticks, but then you're chewing on them first. And then when the guy falls, he gets infected with whatever's in your goddamn mouth because you got swamp mouth from working in fucking Vietnam forever. You're not working. You're on duty. You got drafted. Nobody's working in Vietnam. But yeah, man. But I bought it. I mean, Mod's like, here you go. So I grabbed it, and I think he bought it for me, actually. There may have been a discussion, yawning. I was like, I don't need a stick. He said, you need a stick to chew on. Maybe he just wanted me to shut the fuck up. Here, put this in your mouth and shut up. So we're driving out to go to the hangout. We're on our way, and it's around twilight. And by that I mean there are teenage vampires everywhere. Holy fuck! Ramon was there. Oh, yes, Ramon. He was in Kuwait. So it's fucking twilight, man. It's probably like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 5:30, and the sun is there, but it's not really there. And I will tell you this: the weather was completely different this trip. It is like 72 degrees in Kuwait. 72, 73, 74 over the weekend. I should tell you this now, because why not? Because I don't know if there's a way. I don't like to do this. I hesitate to do it, but yet I will do it anyway because I'm a weird person, and you might not even care. But who cares? I'm going to fucking tell you. I'm home. This part of the show. At some point I came home because we were doing things in Kuwait and I was recording. But then I ran out of time because he's like, hey, I'm coming to pick you up. I'm like, fuck, I got to get ready. So I recorded part of this show in Kuwait. So all that stuff was true when I was in Kuwait. But now I'm home. I've flown home. And I got to tell you, I am fucking whacked. I just flew 19 hours and I'm at my house and I got a load of clothes in the washer and I got a ride coming here. And my friend Erica is coming to pick me up to go to the airport at 4:15. It's midnight. So I am fucking, dude, I slept a little bit on the plane, whatever. I will tell you all about that next week. But right now, I've got to do this in order because that's how I like to do things. Because I didn't talk about the last Kuwait trip. And Amon was like, you never talked about this. You never put this video up. And he's totally right. So what I'll do here is I'm going to finish telling you about this. And then next week, we'll talk about the rest of the trip and maybe some of the last trip. And then we'll post videos and we'll all have a fucking great time, won't we? Jesus Christ. What do you care? This is literally, again, when I don't have a producer, I have to have a production meeting with you guys in the middle of the fucking show. How's that sound? Is that okay? Everybody gives me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and I can't see it because I'm not in your iPod vagina. I live in your ears. So, hi. And the reason I tell you that is because I'm nervous that you can hear fucking Lou the Racist Bartender's fucking cable news broadcast. Here, listen. It's coming through the wall. And I'm always worried about the atmosphere. Like I said, I can hear... It sounds different. And I just know when I'm in your ears, it sounds different where you just go, all right, something just changed. What happened? And I don't want you to be fucking going, man, what happened? What happened in Paul's house? Where did all the air go? Why isn't that one noise happening? Where's the ticking clock? Well, it's because I'm back in my fucking apartment at my desk trying to get this knocked out so I can get maybe 2 hours of fucking sleep before I get in a fucking plane and go to Arizona. I actually know what? I'm going to move to Arizona. Actually, I was born in Arizona and then I'm going to move to Babylonia, King Tut. So we get out, we go to the fucking hangout, and we're driving, and it's twilight, and we see by the side of the road, and I don't even know what fucking road it was, Dishdasha Al Shaman Road, who fucking knows? You should see I put up some of the road signs. They're all named after like sheiks and Abdullah. There's no Evergreen Terrace there. There's no fucking, Main Street. It's all... I guess there's something called the Six Rings. That's what Paul referred to. I have no idea. You remember Paul, the guy I stayed with? I'll tell you all about him later. I told you about him last week. He had a tank top on, and he looked like fucking Popeye with his huge arms, but they weren't huge, really. He's a normal person. Anyway, shut up. So, I wound up going in the twilight. We're driving out in the middle of nowhere because we're driving, like I said, outside of the city limits. It's not the city limits. We're outside the outskirts. And all of a sudden, I see like lights, these makeshift lights. And the thing was, with the holiday, people were putting up tents on the side of the road, and they're staying there. And there's tons of people selling flags, tons of people selling fireworks, tons of people selling fruit. A lot of other things that began with F were being traded and sold for commerce. Jesus Christ. People are selling footballs, of course. That's what you do. People are selling Funyuns. That was a big stand. The Funyun stand was amazing. You know what? I actually bought a football made out of Funyuns. Jesus Christ, that was great. We tossed that around, took a bite out of it. It takes a little off your spiral and you take a chunk out of it, though. If you want a true spiral, don't bite your Funyun football. Are we writing that down? I think we are. Don't bite your Funyun football. Perhaps that is the name of the show. This show would work better with a producer or somebody taking notes. You know what? I guess what I should do is just talk and then listen to the show after, and then do and that's what I'll do from this going forward. If I do a show alone, I'll record it, and then I will listen to it. It's probably not going to happen, but I'll say it right now. Because you guys, again, production meeting. Do you guys care that I stopped in the middle of the fucking show to write down what could be the name of the show? Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. All right, so we're driving in the twilight, and they've got these makeshift tents. All these lights are strung up, and it's kind of hazy. But through the haze, I can see there's like a big crowd, and I look, and you see animals. I see fucking horses, and I see horses, and then I see camels, and they're on the side of the road, and people are paying to ride them, and I'm like, holy fuck this! And I'm just like, dude. Because I see it. I go, dude. So we pull over. Now I should tell you this: I was not ready for camels on that day. I thought we were going to go run around. Like I mentioned earlier, I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt. I didn't have my camel riding jodhpurs on. I didn't have my big camel riding boots. But I didn't give a fuck. We saw a camel, and that was serendipity, and so we had to go fucking take a shot at it. So we pulled over, and it's not organized at all. Here's the thing: you would think they would have like a camel riding emporium. And you show up like a petting zoo. You know when you go to a petting zoo and you got to pay to get in, and there's corrals and stuff, but you still get in, and there's supervisors around? Yeah, fuck that. There's no supervisors in Kuwait. There's just like one filthy nomad and two Bedouins, and they've got a camel. And they just try to call you over to go ahead and ride it. Like we pulled over, people with horses approached the car. That was the freakiest thing. Like we pull up, and they're fighting for every dollar because there's like eight horses out there. And what it is little kids will pay to get on them. And I mean, these are steeds. This wasn't just like a fucking pony or some broken down fucking hobbled horse. This was like the secretariat. This is Amman, Secretariat. I was going to say Secretariat Amman Secretariat. Al Abdul Citation. I mean, these are some big ass fucking horses, and kids are paying to ride it. And we get up there, and there's a camel, and there's a kid riding a camel. And what it is the guy walks with you with it. The camel doesn't run. Camels are camels. They have complete attitude. They're like, fuck you. We're not running anywhere ever. You've seen the Mummy. They lope through the fucking desert. So we pull up, and there's one camel that's already occupado, it looks like. And then there's horses that are full. But then other people are approaching us, pulling their horses toward the car. And Ahmad says in Arabic, the word is jamel, which means, he wants this dude, we want a camel. We don't want to fuck your horse, basically. That's what jamel means. Hey, jamel. And they were like, oh, and they point. And we look over, and there's one camel who's unoccupied. And he's just sitting down, and like I said, there's like 3 fucking road extras from Ben-Hur or whatever, just all dressed up. It's probably the wrong time period, right? I wouldn't think Ben-Hur. They look like guys who built the pyramids. You know what I mean? No, those are Jews. These are guys. Oh, fuck, what do these guys look like? They look like sand people. There you go, from Star Wars. Imagine the sand people are there, and they have a camel to let you ride while they rifle through your car looking for robot parts. So some Tusken Raiders. That's what they look like, Tusken Raiders. And so we walk over, and again, Ahmad is doing all the fucking negotiating. And he's like, whatever, he wants to ride a camel, and they kind of look at me, and they go, okay, come on over. And this camel, it's small. I mean, it's not a pony camel, but it's not like the camels I envisioned, like giant camels. But he's sitting down, and there's a saddle All right, there's no stirrups. So there's one horn on the front and one horn in the back. And you basically have to throw yourself over it. Now, again, I'm wearing a pair of fucking shorts and a t-shirt. I just look like, you know what I look like? I look like America. That's exactly what I look like. America just wandered over, golly, duh, what's this, a camel? Can I ride it? Duh. So stupid. But I was doing it. I'm like, fuck this. I have to do this. I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it last trip. So Ahmad talks to them, and then they're trying to explain to me how to get on the camel because I can't, like, because I can't just throw my leg over because the horn in the back is too high. So then I try to step over it, and that didn't work. And the guy looks, and he's like, all right, you got to put the camel's sitting down, you got to put your ass on the seat, and then spin in it and throw your leg over the front horn that you hold. So the wind is blowing, there's kind of dust around, and the kids are running, so they're galloping, and there's so honestly, it took on this weird vibe because it was kind of grayish brown outside, and there's this sand being whipped up by these kids riding on ponies, and there's another camel who's taking care of his business, and this camel's just sitting there waiting for my fat ass to fucking climb on it. And that's the hard part, dude. Let me tell you something. A year ago, this camel's like, all right, well, I don't mind this guy, but now, man, after the things I've done to my body in the last fucking year, I mean, I am ruined, and it's my fault, and I'm very disappointed in it, and who cares? I'm in my head about it, but I have a plan, and hey, be grateful, forgive yourself, all of those things that I was told. No, it was non-zero days, so I will be grateful, and I will forgive myself, and I will take care of this problem, and I have a plan, and we'll talk all about that another fucking week. But in this instance, this baby camel's gonna have my fat ass fucking thrown over the side of it, and so I put my ass on the fucking saddle. And I look, he's got his head down. So I'm thinking I'm going to fucking spin kick this thing, right? You know, I'm like, if I throw my leg over, if he moves his head, he's going to get jacked. And I don't want to do that. The last fucking thing I'm going to do is kick a camel in the head and have him be angry. So I sit my ass down, and they're like, they're trying to encourage me. And they actually reach down and grab my feet. And I'm like, dude, it's fine. No, I got it. I'm fine. I'm negotiating. I'm talking. And I sit down, and then I hold the horn, and I throw my leg over, and then I grab the horn, and I situate myself. Okay. Now I'm on a saddle with a bunch of cloths and things like that. So the camel's he's on the ground, belly down, and I get situated. I'm like, all right, now I'm on. So I'm trying to sit up tall in the saddle, and I'm fidgeting around, and also I want a picture. So Ahmad's got the phone, and he's behind me. I didn't know he was filming the whole time, but he's behind me filming, and I wanted him to get in the front and take a picture. And I'm like, all right. And I look at him and I go, are we good? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm getting all this. So I hold the thing, and they have to tell the camel to stand up. Like, he doesn't just automatically get up. Now again, there's no stirrups, so my legs are just hanging over the side of the camel, and I'm holding onto the saddle horn in the front. So 2 filthy nomads and a Bedouin, which by the way, that was Kuwaiti Beck's version of 2 turntables and a microphone. Where it's at, it's out here in the middle of a Scirocco with a fat guy trying to ride a camel with 2 filthy nomads and a Bedouin. Possibly. Let's write that down. 2 filthy nomads and a Bedouin. Fuck, I'm a man who kills a story by doing this shit. All right. I'm on top of it. I've got my legs smashed against it. I'm holding out of the saddle horn, but also I just want to ride up tall in it. I don't even know, I'm ready. So the guy goes, all right. They back up, and they have like little, it's not a riding crop because it's bigger, but it's a stick almost. And they tap they tap the camel, and they tap the ground. And I'm fine. I'm looking forward. I'm waiting for Ahmad to come around and take some photos. I'm holding on to the saddle horn, and I'm waiting for the camel to rise up, and then I'll be high up in the Scirocco, and I'll stare into the distance, and I'll get a photo taken of myself. It's going to be fantastic. And Ahmad is in the back. He's photographing, and they start clicking, and they start tapping the stick, and they're like, and they're pointing at the camel, and they're tapping him, and the camel stands up. Check that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to correct that. Half of the camel stands up. Because let me tell you something about camels, folks. Camels, I just assumed, like an elevator, they would, you get on them, and then they rise up from the ground, and there you sit, like Lawrence of Arabia, staring into the distance. But camels don't work that way. Like, not all 4 legs work at once. You know, it's not a fucking auto body shop, all right, where they put me on the fucking lift and go under to see if there's any problems in the undercarriage. No, that's not how it works. The camel's on his belly. I'm on his back. I'm holding onto the saddle horn, and they give him the stick, the tapping, the move, and the camel stands up. Well, at least, like I said, half the camel stands up, and the half that stands up is his hind legs and his ass. So I'm sitting there, I'm holding the horn, and all of a sudden, the ass goes up, but the front is still down. So this isn't a camel anymore. Now it's just a fucking hairy water slide. I mean, it is just, he's face down, ass up, which is, you know, I mean, look, in your best camel porn, that's what you want. But when you're on top of him, man, it's not really the view you're looking for, because fuck, he stands half of just his ass up with his legs, and I go fucking forward. Because again, there's no stirrups. The saddle's not, it's cinched in, but it's not tied down. There's nothing for me to hold on to. So I fucking immediately, I clamp my legs around his fucking body. So my thighs are working overtime, and I'm holding onto the horn with both hands, white knuckling it. And I'm leaning forward, and I'm looking, I thought I was going ass up. I really thought I was going over the top, because again, his ass is up, it's on a complete angle, and I'm facing forward, and I'm all top heavy anyway. I'm a fucking pear with a beard, and I'm ready to topple the fuck over. And he doesn't like, and he also, camels take their fucking time, man. Camels don't just stand the fuck up. I don't understand what he's doing. He sees that I'm there. I just want to get a lift up and a ride and possibly a fucking photo. But instead he lifts his ass up, and I slide forward. And I mean, the whole thing slumps down. I come off of his hump. Like, I'm not even on the hump anymore. The hump is behind me under the saddle, and I'm still just holding onto the saddle horn. And then he decides, he deigns in that moment to stand the fuck up. And let me tell you something. I've never been on a horse. I've never been on a camel. I've never been on anything at all that would just ride me around, other than a fucking merry-go-round. And when he stands up with his front two legs, I just, because I start feeling top heavy, and I'm leaning both to the right and the left, and the guys are trying to hold me up, and he finally stands up, and I swear, I just go, no, and I got my hand up, and Ahmad is like, Mike, relax, and I'm like, no, down, because I thought for sure I was going over. I thought I was falling the fuck off, because I had no grip. I had no purchase. It was just my legs wrapped around his body, but certainly not to the bottom where I could lock my ankles or anything. And I'm holding onto this saddle horn that was just a fucking nub. It was nothing. It was like, you know, it was like you ever go to a lunch meat joint and they got to slice your meat for you, you know, like that chub of mortadella? That's all I'm holding. I'm on a camel holding the chub of mortadella, trying to keep my fucking balance, and I'm still slid down his hump. So I'm facing forward. He's standing up, but I'm slumped in, man. I mean, I'm facing the ground and his head, and I'm starting to feel really, really bad, because again, I'm just thinking I'm going over. I mean, I'm fucking finished. No, down. And Ahmad is like, calm down, and the two guys are like, calm down, and I'm facing forward, and I actually. There were two thoughts that went through my head when it happened. I'm facing the ground, but I'm up, and I'm only like, I don't know, 10 feet in the air, maybe. But still, all I could think of was, I'm big, and if he topples over and he falls on my fucking leg and I go over, so there's two thoughts that I had. One of them was, I'm just going to jump, because I felt so unsafe as it was. I was just going to go. I figured I would go over the side, because I didn't want to go over the front, because I'd break this fucking camel's neck if I landed on him. And then he's going to bite me and stomp on me, and who the fuck knows what's going to happen then. I did not want to. It was bad enough I had sad camel on my hands. I didn't want to have angry camel on my fucking hands. So in my head, I resigned myself to I'm going to drop off to the side. I needed to decide whether I was going to drop to the right or the left. I was going to land on my elbow or my side. And I'm like, well, you'll break your ribs, but who the fuck cares? You got to get off this fucking thing, because dude, this is fucking driving you crazy. And the other thought is, they're trying to calm him down, and he rears his head up, and I'm slumped. So I'm not really as high up as I should be, because that was another thing. I thought, man, if I was on the fucking hump, how high would I fucking be? But I thought to myself, this is a stupid way to die. And I know that sounds ridiculous, like you would never die, but I thought of Christopher Reeve. I thought of getting thrown and having my fucking, and it was funny. Ahmad is like, hey man, camels don't throw anybody. I'm like, dude, don't fucking tell me what camels do and don't do. Jesus, I mean, the camels have never had my fat fucking ass slung over their back and had to figure out what the fuck to do with me. I was lucky he fucking stood up. but I'm holding onto this fucking chub of mortadella, and I'm slumped over to the front, and I'm ready to fall, and I'm just like, no, down, and Mom's like, no, Mike, no, down, no, and the guys, the Bedouins and the two filthy nomads, are just like, and they start with the stick, they start tapping it, and they're like, oh, you hold on, you hold, and he reaches up to try to hold my hands on the chub of mortadella, and again, the camel, when he goes down face first. He puts down, he like slumped down with his front legs, and then he put his ass down. And I sat there, and I could not get off that fucking thing fast enough. I just fucking threw myself over it. I walk away, and I'm like, fuck, dude. And Ahmad is laughing his ass off. He's like, I told you. I go, what? And he goes, I told you they were fucking scary. I go, yeah, it's scary, Jesus. And he goes, yeah, but I told, because he did. I will tell you this. I told him I wanted to ride a camel, and he was just like, okay, cool. You know it's going to be scary, right? I'm like, fuck, I'm just going to get on it and whatever. Just get a photo op. Did not matter. He was just like, fuck, dude. I told you it would be scary, and you were so scared. He goes, dude, it was so funny. And I'm like, yeah, that's hilarious. I'm glad you thought my near-death experience with a fucking dromedary was the peak of your experience of my trip here. You brought me here to kill me, you fuck. But yeah, I just, it was terrifying. It was fucking terrifying. And then he tells me it's not even an adult camel. It's like a not a baby, but it was just a smaller version of a camel. And he gives me the phone. Because then we left. I wasn't even going to try it again because there was a bigger camel there. I'm like, fuck that. No, let's get the fuck out of here. And we get in the car, and I start looking through the photos. And oh man, first of all, I'm wearing a shirt that's like a maroon T-shirt, and it's not flattering at all. And then shorts. I did. Let's put it this way. I looked every bit the scared little kid American that I was. I mean, there was no fucking sophistication. There was no awe. There was nothing heroic about the photo. The funniest is he videoed it. So you say, and I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh, I can't wait to see these. Hey, I erased them. I'm just telling you that right the fuck now. I was like, nope. It just, did I erase them? I might have. Maybe I'm just telling you that. Listen, man, maybe I'll put it up if I can find it, if you want to see it. But dudes, I mean, I was scared out of my fucking mind. And it's just like, down. No. But I mean, again, I'm fat in the shirt and the shorts, and my hair is all fucked up, and it's like this sand blowing, and you see my facial expressions. You just see me freaking out, and I think you can see every fucking muscle in my forearm as I'm holding onto the chub of mortadella. Holy fuck, dude. He videoed it, and he took photos, and none of them were worth public consumption as far as I was concerned, at least as a man who wants to control at least one small part of his fucking image, who wants to try to look at least a little bit cool, because Jesus, it was awful. So that was terrifying and bad. And then we left, and I'm in the car, and I'm like, dude, that was scary. I mean, that was really fucking scary. He's like, yeah, I know. He goes, I told you, they're beasts, man. They're not, it's not like they're like friendly horses or whatever. They just do their fucking job. They lift you up and they walk, and he goes, when you're up there, I go, have you ridden one? He goes, oh fuck yeah. He goes, it's scary as hell. He goes, I was scared out of my mind. I'm like, well, I mean, and look, he would have told me that before, and he did tell me it somewhat, but it wouldn't have deterred me from wanting to do it. I wanted the fucking photo. That was the whole point. But then he gives me these fucking photos of me looking scared as fuck and slumped in the saddle, and oh, Jesus, what a mess. Then we left. We drove into the fucking twilight and headed off to the hangout. And the hangout, dude, it was so great. It was just he and his boy. It reminded me of like being with my little brothers. I mean, I was there. We went into it was Blind Abdullah's house. And it was Blind Abdullah and regular Abdullah and Eastern European Abdullah and Khalid and Ahmad and me and video games, fucking PlayStation 4 and soccer and hockey and pizza and fucking frozen yogurt and just playing cards and playing like blackjack. And I mean, dude, what a fucking stuff I never get to do. Stuff I did, I've already done. Because I'm 50, I'm not supposed to be doing that shit. Nobody should sit around, eat pizza, and play fucking video games. But it was pretty goddamn fun that night. It was fucking fantastic. We hung out at the hangout, and finally, we called it a night. Ahmad took me home, And I said, I still want to try for another camel. He's like, well, we'll try. We'll look around. We'll see what happens. Because it's the holiday weekend. We're bound to run into them at some point. So he drops me off at the building where I'm staying at the Airbnb, and I walk upstairs. And I got to be honest, I don't know how to fucking behave in these things. I don't know what to do. Because, I'm staying in a person's house, and I just go right to the room, but I feel like I have to say hi to them or talk to them for some reason, which is weird. And you don't have to, I suppose. But it's also a nice thing to do, and it's common courtesy. And also, my room was directly, like you walk into the apartment, and my room is directly to the right. So I could just easily slip into my room. But A, I thought that was rude, and B, I had to go to the kitchen anyway to get a bottle of water. So now if I walk all the way to the kitchen, it's just 4 more steps to go to the living room and say hi to Paul. And also, by the way, this is all going on in my fucking head. Paul might not want to fucking see me ever. Like, these people might not want to see me. They want to talk to me. They want anything to do with me. That's why they're a lock on their fucking doors. But for me, I feel like it's a nice thing to do, and you got to say hi, whatever. And I also like to say hi. Paul seemed like a nice fella. So I went and I grabbed a bottle of water. And I sat down. I walked into the living room and I go, hey, Paul, how are you? He's like, oh, hey, Mike, how are you? I said, good. He goes, did you have a lovely day? And I said, yeah, I actually, it was kind of weird. He's like, well, did you get to do what you wanted to do? And I said, oh, yeah, well, sort of. I said, we went out today, and I just had dinner with a couple of friends, and then I went to ride a camel, Paul. He's like, oh, no. And I said, oh, yeah. And I said, and the photos are terrible. And I was like, down. No. I explained, I told him the whole story, and he's just laughing. And he goes, well, what else you got planned? And I'm like, well, what do you suggest? Like, what else is there to do? And he told me that the International Tower was going to be open. It's the International Tower. I don't know, it's not the Freedom Tower. I don't know what the fuck they call it. Liberation Tower. There you go. And he said that was only going to be open one day of the year. And that was the day of the holiday. He's like, you should try there. And there's also there's another house they have with all sorts of, damages and things like that. You can go visit. It's like a shrine. And I was like, okay, great. And I said, well, what about, I said, we're going to some island, I think. He goes, oh, I've heard about that. I've never been, but I've heard it's fantastic. You should go to it. It'll be a lot of fun. And I said, great. And he said, oh, and also, if you wanted to, you and I, we could go ahead and, I can go ahead and get my tank top on and we can go ahead and take some naked photos of you as you walk down the hallway. Would that be right? And I'm looking at him. He goes, I've listened to your pod. Fuck. This is why you don't tell people what you goddamn do. He heard me talk about him with the tank top and the possibility of me walking through the hallway with the fucking, all of it. And he goes, and I said, all right, look, let me explain. I said, I'm just being silly. Are you mad? And he goes, oh, no, it's hilarious. He goes, I think it's very funny. He goes, your English accent is shit, but other than that, it's fine. And I go, you know what? You're going to agree with my friend Dave on that, for fuck's sake. But then I sat, and then I felt comfortable, and I'm glad I stopped in to talk to him. And I sat there and I was like, yeah, I said, the show, it's so funny. I'm apologizing to you because I didn't say anything bad about you, but at the same time, when people get sucked in, they don't understand that it's jokes. I said, where are you in the show? He's like, oh, I'm about halfway through. And he goes, I was laughing. It was very funny. I said, well, good. He goes, but you go on all of these strange tangents, like, and then you always come back. And I'm like, yes, I know. It's weird, isn't it? Strange, particularly when I'm alone. I wind up doing that kind of dumb shit. But he was very complimentary and very pleasant. And said, he liked the show and he was not offended or mad. And he goes, you have to have a laugh. You have to have a laugh, of course. I said, okay, great. But I call it getting sucked into the television. I go, some people get pulled in, and then I say some things about them, and they're not fans of them. They don't, they kind of. And he's like, no. He goes, it was fine. I go, well, you've only listened to half. I go, did you get to the poison gas part yet? And he's like, what? And I go, all right, great. As soon as you get there, let's see if you think I'm still okay. And if you need me to go stay somewhere else this week, I'll go ahead and be happy to do it. And he laughed, and he said, no, that's fine. And I then walked down the hallway knowing full well that the rest of the week was going to be fucking awkward because every time I saw him, I would think that he was thinking I was a dick. But you know what? Why should my life in Kuwait be any different than my life in the United States, right? There's always got to be some guy that I'm always aware of the fact they think I'm a dick. Probably. So I got defeated by the camel, man, in a heads-up match. And a baby camel, too. Fuck that. It wasn't even an adult camel that took me out. It was a goddamn baby camel. But I refused to be cowed. I refused to be cameled. I refused to be donkeyed or muled or anything. I refused to be zebraed or gazelled. Any other animal you could think of. Because I told him I go, fuck this, man. I can't. Because when I looked at the photos, because I was going to just, I couldn't let it be at that. I couldn't let it just last. I couldn't fucking, there was no way that was going to be the attempt. There was no way. So later in the week, he said, because I said to him a couple times, I'm like, those photos they're awful, and I look stupid, and he's laughing because he saw it happen. He knew it was hilarious. No, 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 no. I mean, that might as well be my fucking battle cry. Down, 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 down. So I said to him, I'm like, if there's any opportunity later this week to see this, to have this happen again, it would be great. And so we're driving on the holiday, the national holiday, which was, I think, the 25th or it's the 25th, I believe. We were out driving, and again, we went out to the same area, and we went exploring all over. So we would stop and pull over dudes. There was guys with horses, and he's like, Jamel. That's what he would say to them, and they'd go, oh yeah, it's over there by the mosque. And then we drive by the mosque. There's no fucking camels there. Like all these Indian dudes, they just wanted nothing to do with us. I think it was because they're all breaking their ponies, wherever the fuck they're walking them up and down the dirt roads, the desert. And we kept looking. And it was daylight, so we're still keeping an eye out. We're able to see, and by the way, Ahmad's got amazing eyesight. Fuck, dude. He could read like a prescription bottle from a mile away. Just like, hey, is that your dopamine? I don't know. What is dopamine? Did I just make that up? Is that a real medicine? I have no idea. Where? A mile up there? Oh, yeah, maybe it is. I might have dropped it earlier. So we're out looking for a place, and we saw horses, and again, there was no Jamel. We went looking, and then we were driving in circles, and we're out, and then we had to run a gauntlet. Dude, we went to in the city, there was people with squirt guns, which was fucking amazing because that's the deal with their holiday. They all throw squirt guns and shoot water guns at you. And they try doors. That's the weirdest thing. Like, they're not happy to just throw balloons at your car and squirt you. Kids were running up and trying your door to try to squirt you in the face. It was pretty insane. And I can't imagine this happening in America, because it would happen with real guns. It was like the Purge, but with water. So people were running up and trying your car doors and throwing balloons and it was really fun because you would just look out and there would be little kids. It was cool when it was little kids, but when it was adults, you'd have like 35-year-old men with super soakers just fucking, walking around in groups. That's a little fucking off-putting because the whole town looks a little fucking creepy anyway because it gets a little desolate when you get past all the buildings, and then you see just roving packs of dudes holding fucking. It's luckily they're colored. They're all like fluorescent yellow and orange, which is good. That's then when you know it's a squirt gun. But otherwise, you look at those dudes, you're like, fuck, am I getting taken out? Are these road bandits? What's happening? So we went to this one part of town. Again, we were looking for camels. We wound up on the outskirts going through stables and looking, because people were referring us, and Ahmad is the coolest because he's all about making sure that I have a cool ass experience out there. And look, I don't mind. I'll go to the hangout and just fucking do nothing. We can go eat soup and fucking hummus and kebabs and just have a great time. But he also knows, because I'll say to him, every day I would get in the car and I go, look, I wouldn't mind this. I wouldn't mind this. I wouldn't mind this. And whatever we wound up doing, again, is fucking great. But he knew that the camel thing was a big deal because I wanted to get a fucking photo. So we're off looking, we're seeing horses, and then we get out to this fucking town, and there's so much traffic. And I told you about the guy doing donuts. It was right around there, and we're at a 4-way stop, and we start to proceed. There's cops everywhere, and the cops, by the way, they don't even have guns. Well, they might have had guns, but all they were doing. Some of the cops had water balloons. Like, they were actually throwing water balloons at your car too. It was just festive and amazing. So we started creeping along, and I'm like, why is there so much fucking traffic? Well, we realized for the next 1.5 miles to 3 miles, the street was packed with people with squirt guns and balloons. It was almost like a car wash, basically, is what it was, because you're just driving through and just getting fucking blasted and soaked by everybody with water. And again, like I said, little kids, you're like, aha, that's hilarious. But like older people, teenagers will run up and just like fucking spike a goddamn water balloon on your windshield like really hard, and they get as close to your cars as possible. Nobody out there has any sense of dying or getting run over. Like, people just walk into the fucking middle of the street. Like I said, it's funny, the way Ahmad puts it is, you'll see an Indian guy on the side of the road and he's just standing there. It looks like he's waiting to cross, but then he waits until like 10 more Indians show up, and then they cross as a swarm. And they just swarm, because then they can stop traffic. Just 10 dudes. One dude's not willing to try it by himself, but the swarm of Indians will happily go ahead and ruin everybody else's commute. So we're walking down this we're driving down the street, and we're just getting bombarded, and we're crawling along. I mean, it's like LA rush hour traffic, but with people throwing water balloons and shooting squirt guns at you. It was fun, but also at the same time, it was just like, oh, it's all right. This could fucking end anytime soon here. But people were celebrating, and it was fun, and it was good to see kids. And I'll tell you this too, another thing that fucking country doesn't care about are seatbelts. There were big ass SUVs and Escalades and fucking Range Rovers, and you'd turn around, and it would be like, a woman in a hijab whose only her eyes are revealed. She's driving, and there's got to be 15 people in the car with her. There might be 2 or 3 other adults, and then just kids in the way back and in the back seat and crawling in the front seat, and just it looked like, you know, a ninja driving around a litter of puppies. I mean, it was just fucking crazy. She's just, you can't see anything, just a black scarf, and then everybody else is just kind of writhing, and it's just this pulsing mass in this fucking car. And they're cutting in and out of traffic. Nobody uses signals, and they turn fucking left from the right lane. I told y'all, it's a mess. I found out Abdullah did that, fucking regular Abdullah. He came to America, and he turned left from the right-hand lane, because they can do it over there. And also, by the way, you can just turn left on green. You don't have to wait for the other people. There's no oncoming traffic. Because that freaked me out. I thought of mine, because he's blowing through stop signs, but he's also blowing through these fucking green lights to make a left-hand turn. I'm like, well, you're lucky we're not getting killed. He's like, no, in this country we can do that. I'm like, phew, God, thank God. And then he told me regular Abdullah went to America, and he turned left from the right-hand lane. And when he got pulled over, he didn't have a license. I think he only had a passport or something like that. And he said the cop just let him go. The cop asked him like 10 questions. You're from Kuwait. And he looked at his paperwork, and then just went, you know what, just forget this. I was like, you know, he's lucky he did that fucking a year ago or whatever it was, because if he did that now, forget it. He'd still be in fucking Abu Ghraib or Guantanamo Bay. Actually, fuck that. They'd open Abu Ghraib just to throw him in there. And I don't blame him. Fuck you. You turn left from the right-hand lane, you deserve to go back to Abu Ghraib. Get fucking Lydia England in there to fucking light a cigarette and point at your cock. I can't believe I know that chick's name. All right, so we're driving, we're looking, we're running the gauntlet, we're crawling. People are shooting, they're blasting. People are cutting in and out of traffic. And sheiks are just turning left willy-nilly. And finally we get to the end of it. And we make a little haste. We drive a couple miles. And there's, again, like I said, tents everywhere. They're lit up. There's people having fun. They're just throwing parties. They've got, artificial light and fireworks and flags everywhere. And I'll tell you what, I saw both flags of Kuwait. I saw the original flag and the Kuwaiti flag. Dude, both of their flags are awesome. Like the one that they have now with the red, white, and black and green, that's fantastic. But they used to have an old flag. It was just a red flag, and it just said Kuwait on it in white in Arabic. And that's a badass flag too, I think. But I will tell you this, dude, fucking flags everywhere, like I said. And I mean building-sized flags. They had... buildings downtown also lighting up green, black, white, as in the colors of the flag. And I've got a few photos of that. And so everything was celebrating 25, 26 and celebrating. But then they would have these like Christmas lights flags, really big ones. Because they would have, the cloth flags that would literally go from on a 3-story building from top to bottom and unfurl. It was amazing. But then they had these fucking light up Christmas tree type flags. And they were red, green, white, and fucking blue where the black's supposed to be. Because, you can't make black light bulbs. So to make the whole complete set, they went with the fucking blue. And I hated it. God, we saw so many of them. And I thought, what a disrespect. I mean, if you put up an American flag and you said, you know what, I don't like red. I'm going to go with green, white, and blue. And people would be like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Or if you turn the stars orange, people would be like, dude, that's the fucking flag. You can't fuck with that. But in Kuwait... and he told me, he's like, people don't care. I'm like, all right, well, that seems weird. It seems like you'd have some patriotic inclinations, certainly around patriotic holidays like the 25th and 26th. And he's like, yeah, he goes, I hate them too. He goes, I don't know why they're selling them. But every time I would see him, I go, dude, and I'd shake my fist at it because everyone had them up and they suck. So we start driving. We're crawling. We see this. It doesn't just look like a camp. It looks almost like a carnival. It's got a circular fence around it. It's got bouncy houses inside, and people are parking. And he goes around the back of it, and he just goes, camel. I go, what, where? And he goes, in there. I turn around. Dude, I can't even see through the fence. Okay, I mean, I see the bouncy house because it's taller, and I see kids kind of walking around outside and riding these dune buggies in the sand. But he somehow saw a camel inside there. So we pull around. He parks in the front. And we get out, and I go, "You sure you saw a fucking camel in there?" Because I couldn't see a goddamn thing. And he's like, "No, I guarantee it." We walk inside, and sure enough, there's horses that are walking kids to and fro, and there's a camel that is just sitting there, and I see it, and I got to tell you something. I was terrified of the last camel. I'm not going to lie to you. I saw it, and once I got on it, I wasn't scared when I walked up to it because I don't give a fuck. But then when I realized what it was capable of and what could happen to me, I was a little thrown. Well, that camel that I saw in the Scirocco in the twilight was like half the size of the camel that we're approaching here at this fucking carnival. It's sitting down, and there's a group of people around it. There's 2 handlers, 2 Bedouin guys, and there are children there, and they come up, and as we're walking up, because I just want to tackle it, because I don't want to think about it at all. I just want to get on the motherfucker and make it work. And these kids approach, and one of the kids pays him, and he gets on the fucking camel. I'm like, oh, god damn it, we were so close. So he goes for a ride, and the camel goes walking, and as we're approaching, the camel walks farther away from us. We go up to the guy and we're like, well, can we ride? And he points at me, and the guy's like, oh, I will say this, all Arabic guys like that. In the city, they see an American and they kind of like, well, that's weird that there's an American here, but that's no big deal. In the country, in Kuwait, like in the desert, these dudes who live in these fucking compounds away from humans, and I, probably just eat sand and legends. They see me, and and I'm a giant too, which doesn't help. I look like a mythical creature, like some ghost. I'm like the judge in Blood Meridian. That's what they see. They just see this fucking white skin, although he was hairless. But I walk up and I got the big fucking beard now, and my hair is pulled back, and oh, dude, these dudes are just looking at me like, what the fuck? But they just nod, and Ahmad asks, and how much, and they talk, and they nod, and they converse in Arabic, and I just stand there and I steel myself for the task ahead. And the camel starts to reapproach. Because as we walked up, like I said, the camel walked into the distance with the kid on his back. So then the camel's coming up and walking, and they're talking, I'm standing, I'm staring, the camel's walking, he does a turn, and he comes by us. And, I never got a true gauge of how big this camel was as I walked up, because it walked away from us as we approached. But then as he walks up and gets closer to us, I can see he's standing up. And he's easily over 6 feet. Like he might have been 7 feet, because when I was standing next to him, my head didn't reach his hump. And he walks up with the kid, and they got to get the kid off. And the camel immediately sits down. And I said to him, I go, look, here's the thing. You cannot take pictures. And I made sure, by the way, I was ready for this. I wore jeans. I wore a fucking T-shirt. And I didn't wear a fucking dishtasa. I should have. But, it's funny. When I was telling the guys about the dishtasa, I think I told you that on here. Did I mention that already earlier? That they asked me, people were like, why didn't you bring it? And I'm like, I thought it would be a fucking disrespect to your culture. And they're like, no, you should have fucking brought it. You look awesome. And I'm like, damn it. So they put the camel down, and here's how big the camel is. I have to stand on a kitchen chair just to get on it. Again, I'm 6'2". Now, I was able to sit down on the baby camel and throw my legs over it. This camel, I have to stand on a chair that's easily 3 feet off the ground just to get ahead and climb on this fucking camel. And it's just seething, and it's hot. There's a heat coming off of it too, where it's just, and it's, again, to me, it's a big deal. The camel, obviously, to him, it's not a big deal. It's his fucking job. He just walks people around. And he's not thinking to himself, well, there's fat American or tiny Arabian kid. He's just like, whatever the fuck, I'm in. And they have this chew, like they chew stuff, like they're constantly moving their jaws and chewing, which is disconcerting and weird. But he just looked, there was just ennui. This camel had a little ennui about him, where he's like, well, I have expected him to do a Flintstones and just go, it's a living, so they put the chair down, I fucking stand on it. And even then, I have to grab the horn of the saddle. I got to grab the Chubba Mortadella, and I have to kind of lean and jump a little bit to get up on top of this fucking camel. So I lean and I put my foot up and I kind of brace myself, and then I throw myself over and I come down. Luckily, I don't fucking smash my nuts into the saddle. And now I'm on top of this fucking beast. Now, I should tell you, when I was on the other camel, I could put my legs, they were hanging past his body, and I felt I could wrap them underneath him. Not this dude. Also, when I was holding onto the fucking horn and leaning forward on the other camel, I was close to his head, I felt, but I mean, this thing feels like it's a mile away from me. His head is so far away. But at least I do have the advantage this time of knowing how this motherfucker's going to stand up. He's going to go ass first and then face, which is exactly how a camel should do it, right? When you think about it, now that you've been told. So I'm holding the Mortadella, the fucking dude is there, and I tell him out, I go, look, get in the front. I go, and he's like, don't ride it. I said, well, no, I got to ride it. That's part of the thing. And he goes, no, dude, don't. He goes, trust me, the pictures and getting on it that's the main thing. He goes, but riding it, you're going to freak out. He goes, it's not comfortable, and it's not going to run, and you're not going to really, the whole time you're going to be thinking of falling. It's not going to be fun for you. And I'm like, well, all right. So I said, make sure you get in the front to take the photos. So I'm on the back of this fucking thing, and my legs are not even like past his body. Like I couldn't hope to get any purchase at all. But my thighs are gripped and my hands are holding the fucking saddle horn, and they with the stick and they start tabbing. Same deal, trying to get him up, and Ahmad is there, and this time I'm ready. I'm fucking ready, and he goes ass up. And I'm holding with both fucking hands on the saddle horn, and right when he gets to the apex of his height, like he goes up, I slip. I fucking slip. My hand comes off, and I punch the camel in the back of the fucking head. It was awful, dude, because he's like, he goes to put his ass up, and I will tell you this too, he made a noise, like he was just like that's this fucking crazy noise, and I kind of slipped, and it wasn't a solid shot, I just rabbit punched him, because otherwise I would have fucking knocked him out Mongo style, right? But I fucking rabbit punched the fucking camel in the back of the head, but quickly, because the other day I would have just fallen. I would have made sure I fell on my face, but this time I was like, fuck this, I'm determined, and I know how to do this, and I hit him, and then I leaned and I grabbed the fucking horn, and then the rest of him stood up. And I'm on him. And I wasn't I was scared, I won't lie, but I wasn't as scared as I was with the first one, even though this one was like twice his fucking size. I mean, this one was gigantic. And Ahmad is just in front of me, and he's taking photos, and I'm like, all right, wait, hold on, do this. And you can see the Arab guy, he's got the stick, and he's like, and he's wondering if we're going to go for a ride. And Ahmad's like, Ahmad talks to him in Arabic, basically says, we're not going for a ride. And he takes like 8 photos or whatever the fuck, 10 photos. I don't even know. He just kept taking photos. I go, just keep doing it. And I looked in the distance and fucking did stew looks and fucking stared. And it was fucking fantastic. I loved it. Because then at that point, I'm on it. And I didn't slide forward. The saddle stayed on the hump because this thing's so fucking big. There was no way. I mean, it's so broad. There was no way I was going to fall. The little baby one, of course, I fell forward almost into the crook of his fucking neck. But this one had me in the air, had me fucking balanced, and I'm on top of him. And I'm not going to lie to you. It felt good. It felt goddamn good. It felt like I belonged. It felt like Schmitty of Arabia. Because I was there, I had fucking 2 hands on the mortadella and fucking Ahmad snapping photos, and I'm just looking to the sunlight like, fuck yeah, I should do this every goddamn day. Of course, I don't know where I'm going to find a camel in Los Angeles, but I'm sure if I looked, I could find one. So I'm on there, the guy, he's just holding him in place, and I take the photos, and when I put the 2 photos up on the Facebook and the Joker's page. I think I put them on my Facebook page too, and the funniest thing is, in one of the photos, you can see the little guy, like the little Arab guy who's one of the handlers. Ahmad's taking photos, and this guy's just looking at him, smiling at the camera. Because they were looking up at me like, what the fuck is this idiot doing? Like, why is he doing chic poses and nonsense and staring into the distance like a nobody? This guy doesn't want to ride it. He just wants to sit on it. But then they look, there's the one shot of him just smiling right at the camera, because finally they came around and they thought it was funny and they were laughing because I was just I was hamming it up, of course. Because it's the whole point. If you're going to get on a camel, you got to ham it up. You got to cam it up, perhaps. I've got to cam it up on a hamel or ham it up on a camel. That's how I work. Or you got to jam it up on a jamel. When it came time to go down, the guy's just like, he's trying to convey, like, he didn't know English, so he's just like, oh, and he's putting his hands forward. He's like, hold on. And I'm like, dude, I did this yesterday. I know exactly what to do. Even though, again, he doesn't know any fucking English. And so they, with the stick, and he went down face first, and I'm holding the fucking, I'm white knuckling and holding it. I didn't move. I sat up tall in the fucking saddle, and then ass down, and I was on him, and I stepped off onto the fucking chair, and I just looked out from the desert, and I'm like, yeah! And I got off, and we paid the dude, and I go, did you get photos? He goes, oh, I got photos. And he gives me the phone, and I look, and dudes, fucking, I hugged him. I was just like, I go, dude, I fucking grabbed him by the neck. I'm like, yeah, god damn it, because it's exactly what I wanted. It's exactly what I fucking wanted. And I'm celebrating, and we turn to leave, and on the side, I see the little kid who rode the camel before me and his brother, and they're just pointing and laughing their asses off. Because I know they realize how scared I was, and I didn't even ride the fucking thing. He rode it. He rode it all the way down to the end of the fucking carnival and back. And the 2 of them saw me get up and pretend and posture and stare into the desert and basically play act like somebody cool or smart or fun. And they just looked at me and they laughed because they got it. Even with a language barrier, even with an age barrier, they knew. They could sense the fear. And I'll tell you what, I don't give a fuck how much I talk about Trump and how much regular Abdullah and Fawaz come up to me and they go, how is Trump? I don't care what he does for the next 4 or 8 years. He couldn't possibly do as much to destroy American exceptionalism as I did in that fucking 45 seconds on top of a camel in front of those 2 kids. No fucking way. You guys can get me at mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can follow me at Instagram. I'm Mike40YOB. I'm at, where am I? Snapchat, Mike40YOB. I was going to send out like a My Story Snapchat from, here's how old I am. I'm from Kuwait. I was like, oh, I'll totally do a My Story from exclusive to Snapchat. And I don't know how to do the movies. I can't figure out how to film a video on fucking Snapchat. Well, I can do snapshots, but I have no idea how to film a video. So you guys missed out on an exclusive Kuwait My Story, which I'm sure you're upset about. That was a yawn I stifled and made a weird throat noise. So find me at Instagram, Snapchat, Mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com, Facebook.com, Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy, both. Remember, our great friend David Hernandez does all of the artwork and music for this show. David Hernandez. You can be his friend at Facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez. Or if you want, you can go ahead and go to his Art by DMH site. Look at all the artwork he has for sale. Commission him to do some private artwork for you. That's right, private. He will draw you like one of his French girls if you'd like him to. So please contact him at artbydmh.com or at facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez. And he's looking into other avenues as well. I don't know if he's found them yet. He has not informed me, so I cannot plug them. Ryan Dirks is our video guy. No, he's not. He's our web guy. You can find him at facebook.com/Ryan Dirks. And of course, there is the producer of this show, who is not here now. She's out and about and visiting other people and doing fantastic things, because half of this show was in Kuwait and then the other half was here late at night. But hopefully, I will be back in the same room with her next week. That's our producer, Lily Von Stupp. You can follow her at, well, first be your friend at facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can follow her at twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp, twitter.com/MNTs, twitter.com/HollywoodBQFest, and twitter.com/Boobdini. Please remember, she has a Patreon page, patreon.com/Lily. She's on tour, on the road, doing all sorts of stuff. Maybe I'll talk about that on the other side here, but I will tell you this. If you'd like to write her a personal note and ask her exactly, well, how double her vision is right now. Does she have, you know what? Because here's the thing. If she has double vision in her one good eye, then she's fine, right? Wouldn't you think so? You got to have double vision, at least in one eye, and then you've got regular vision, correct? I'm not much of an ophthalmologist or an optometrist. Or an ophthalmologist, I guess. Regardless, if any of those questions resonate with you and you'd like to ask her, please go ahead and write her at Lily@burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
get his talking MLK. Gonna find a way, make the state pay. Looking for the day, hard as it seems. This ain't no damn dream, gotta know what I mean. It's team against team, catch the light beam.
So I pray every day, I do every job I make. Looking for culture, I got my knot here from Jamaica. Pushing and shaking the structure, bringing down the Babylon. Hearing the sucker that make it hard for the brown. The heart full of all I need it now, more than ever now. Who's sitting on my freedom oppressor? People beater. Piece of the pick, we picked a piece of a land reserving now. Reparation, a piece of the nation, damn, he got the nerve. Another brother saying classify, we want too much. My people plus the nine is mine, don't think I even double dutch. Here's a brother, my attitude is here, don't hang 'em high. I'm blowing up the 90s, started ticking in 86. When the blind get a mind, better start fearing what we're singing. Now there will be the day we know who's down and who will go. Go, 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 go. By the time I get to Arizona, by the time I get to Arizona, by the time I get to Arizona.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 Clubs on Vine at Santa Monica. Fantastic shows. Babylon Cabaret is there sometimes. Other people are there getting naked, flaunting themselves. A lot of pink involved. That might not be true. A lot of brown areolas also not on display because there are pasties. Basically, it's a show that's never what I tell you it is, but it's still a fantastic show. You should go check it out. Go to facebook.com/Monday Night Teas and be a member there, and you'll find out who's coming to town and when and what they're doing and why they're going to be there. Please remember that the Hollywood Burlesque Festival is coming to town. Tickets are on sale now, I believe, at HollywoodBurlesqueFestival.com. But if that's not right, you can go to Lily's Facebook page, Lily Von Strupp, the producer of this show, and she's been putting up links for ticket sales. And, if you come to town for that, of course, then that would be fun to hang out and hook up and be all sorts of cool people who do good things, right? Or we don't have to be fucking superheroes. We can have a sandwich. We don't have to be crusaders. I don't know why I said that. We'll hook up and do good things. Who the fuck are we? Salvation Army Santas? Fuck that. Just come to town and say hi, and we'll, like I said, we'll get a fucking taco somewhere. But yeah, tickets are on sale for the Hollywood Burlesque Festival. Go ahead and pick those up so you can have a good time this summer with a lot of ladies taking their clothes off and you in the room staring. Oh, that's not creepy at all. Let's see. Please remember. Oh, you know what? I will plug this. 2020. Those tickets are on sale as well. We've got 3 of them coming up. There are now 3 separate days with tickets on sale. I told you last week. March 13th, it's me and Tom Clark. And I believe Sophia Alexander. I believe, if I can go off the top of my head. And then on March 20th, it's me, Eddie Pepitone, and Pamela Walt. And then me and Howard Kramer. And a very funny woman who's going to be there in April, another funny comedian, on April 17th, I think it is. But it's me and Howard Kramer for sure. But I know Eddie Pepitone and Pamela Walt in a couple of weeks. I know Sophia Alexander and Tom Clark in a couple of weeks. All great shows. Fantastic people coming out and having a good time and enjoying themselves. Tickets are available now. As I stifle a yawn at 2:30 in the morning before I have to get up. Yeah, remember I said I got to get on a plane at 4:15? I am not sleeping tonight. I will sleep on the way to Phoenix. That's a Glenn Campbell song. So I will tell you that what was it talking? Oh, 2020. Tickets are available now. Go to brownpapertickets.com and look for 2020 tickets. I don't think we're on Gold Star. I think we just adjusted the price a little bit. We took it down. So instead of the $5 discount tickets, I think we're doing an $8 ticket. I don't know. It's still a good show. It's me, along with, like I said, Eddie Pepitone's in a couple of weeks, Tom Clark, Pamela Walt, Sophia Alexander. Go to facebook.com/2020, and you will see all of the people that are coming. Hey, you know what? Actually, we keep making event pages. Let's just make a page for 2020, right? Because then all of the shows will be posted. Now that I think of that, because I keep getting the wrong link for facebook.com/2020. It's always got some other fucking things. We got to create an event. I think I'm just going to create a 2020 page, and that would be great. And that's more art for Mex to do. I'm sure he's thrilled. He's like, yeah, dude, I totally can't wait to paint something else. He almost forgot to do the art today, as a matter of fact, because he's also going to Arizona with me this weekend, and he wrote me, because I wrote him from Kuwait because we can't talk, and I'm like, hey, dude, the show will be camel-centric this week. So think that way. And he's like, camel, okay. Because he's a man of very many words. And then he wrote me and he said, dude, because I'm not accustomed to traveling, I almost forgot to paint your art this week. And then you look at the picture and realize that he did that kind of quick. He threw that together, that fucking brilliant picture you're looking at. Because he's a genius. And so am I. That's why the show's so good. You got a couple of geniuses teaming up. And Lily Von Schupp, also a genius. Look at us. Three-headed monster. It's fucking amazing. 2020 tickets on sale now. Come to one or all of the shows, or two or all of the shows, or just come to all the shows. Fuck it. Come. It's going to be a fun time. And I'm going to go ahead and mention this. I haven't plugged it yet, but I'm proud of it, so I'll go ahead and tell you. I have been accepted into a comedy festival here in Los Angeles, the Broke LA Festival. It's bands, it's comics, it's a million different people. I guess, I will say this because I care about this sort of thing. There were like over 1,000 comedy entrants and they picked 30 or so, and I'm one of them, which makes me happy. I don't know how much time I'm doing. I don't know where I am in the lineup. I know Kyle Kinane is on the lineup with me, and then a bunch of other people. I think Valerie Tassi, who I had at 2020, is also involved. She's been chosen. So that's April 8th. That's a Saturday, and it's bands and comedy, and I think it's in a tent, and it's in LA, and it's a big fucking cool atmosphere, and I'm proud, man. Look at that. Remember I told you I needed to start doing more stand-up? Well, I saw that. I submitted on a lark, sent them some clips, and they were like, yeah, dude, you're in. So I'm going to use that kind of as a booster platform along with the 2020s, and like I said, I want to come out this summer and see a bunch of people. I was talking to Ahmad, next time I go to Kuwait, I'd love to do a show out there. I want to do shows here. I'd love to get to England. I'd love to get to Australia. It's time, man. It's fucking time for me to do all this stuff. Liam, it's time. And James, it's time. And everybody else in other countries. I was gonna mention all the Canadian people, but I can't. That's too many people. Zelda Moon, it's time. How about that? All right, so this is 2020 tickets are on sale now, so go ahead and check those out. Idiot. Threw myself off there. Go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, and we've got all sorts of cool stuff there at the Joe Business page. Downloads are available. The live stuff is available, which you can, and all the yearly downloads that our friend Nick keeps buying because he's the best. And please remember that we've got t-shirts still. Your dirt shirts are available. We've got the tweakedaudio.com/40YOB deal happening. We also have we have our personal sponsor, getthebutters.com. That's getthebutters.com. Our friend Jerome used the code 40YOB. I said Jerome. It's Jermaine, right? Is it Jerome? I'm an idiot. Nichols. I'm folks, again, 3 a.m. And he's a sponsor. He should be getting better treatment than that. I believe it's Jerome. So go to getthebutters.com, use the code 40YOB, and get balms and butters and bombs and lubes, and all of that stuff is available to bring to your house and rub on your chest in the dark. Or rub on your chest in the light. Go out by your pool in your courtyard. Go out in your backyard and stare up at the sun and rub some butter on your face while you rub some balm on your body, and you get a balm and put it wherever you want to put it. And then get some lube and do whatever you want to do with that. You know what? Use the lube to put the balm somewhere. How about that? You get some butters and some balms and you use those, and then you get the lubes and the bombs and you use the lube to put a balm in an interesting place. I love this plan. This is what you're going to do. So you're going to go to getthebutters.com. You're going to use the code 40YOB and buy all sorts of bombs and balms and butters and lubes. Please. Help our friend Jerome. I'm going to call him a million different names. JN, we'll call him that. The big J. How about that? Because I'm half a fucking sleep. I just flew 20 hours today. All right. Also, please remember at the MikeSchmidtComedy.com, at the link there on the Joe Business page, we have our Amazon link that you can use. Click on that. Like our friend Drew Bennett. I don't know what name he wants me to use, but he did it to buy some photography equipment. Did I mention that last week? I may have. But again, it's all been a fog of traveling and sand. But now I will tell you that if you do that and you'd let me know what you're doing, I'll talk about it on the show. I'll plug you. I'll talk about what you did when you purchased something on the old Amazon link. It's really cool that you guys are using that. Thank you so much. It helps immeasurably. And now that I'm back here in America and I have to face facts and start driving again, it's really nice to know that you guys are backing me up. And yes, I know, quit writing me. There'll be a Patreon page. I just got to finish it. Fuck. But you're all very nice to show me your interest and your concern. And I know, and people are like, well, then why the fuck wouldn't you put it up? Because we're waiting to give you money. And I get that. I know, but I got to write it. It's got to be right. But hopefully, fuck that. In the next 2 weeks, it'll be up. It'll be ready. Well, it's my end will be done. I don't know if Max's art will be done. Fuck, he could be done with everything. I don't know. He could be waiting on me. But I went overseas, and that's no excuse. But fuck, there you go. I rode a camel. I was on 2 camels. I almost killed a baby camel, and then I almost killed a baby kid who laughed at me on another big camel. So So please go ahead and use our Amazon link. That helps out immeasurably. Thank you. We appreciate it very much. We get money, they get money, you get stuff. Can't beat that. People have been asking about this. People asked on Facebook. And I had 2 people write me about it. And then look, 2's more than enough for me to bring this up again. If you want to use mileiq.com, you can go to mileiq.com/invite/h/HFVHB. mileiq.com/invite/HFVHB. You using that gets me like a gift card on the internet, but that's cool. And it gets you to figure out what your mileage is. Uber. You can use my code DJZW1YTTUE for Lyft. It's MIKE 720057, Mike 720057. All caps for Lyft, all lowercase for Uber. Please use those and get a job accordingly and drive around the world and take people where they need to go and make me some money and make you some money. Make me the Uber pimp and the Lyft pimp. And you guys can go and hit the streets for me. And then I'll be like Wings Hauser and I'll fucking heat up a clothes hanger and I'll burn your tits like Nina Blackwood. That's a movie from a long time ago. All right, so that's what I wanted to say. That's let's do this. Let's talk about our good friend Chuck Hudspeth, who is a fan and friend of this show. He sent me his video camera to take to Kuwait, and I did bring it to Kuwait, and now I'll be shipping it back to him unused. And I know you're like, dude, why the fuck wouldn't you use it? You were there. Well, here's why. Because the phone is so convenient. The phone is so easy, and we would travel and go places. It just seemed like a lot to carry. I know you think I'm insane for that, but to bring a duffel bag or whatever the fuck with a camera in it, and there's plugs, and also then I'm just a child. I can't figure. Well, and I'm not a child really. I mean, I sort of am. I talk myself out of doing new things. The good thing is I have the GoPro that he sent me. Did I mention that last week? That he sent it and then I wound up stepping on it and found it in my bag because I thought I lost it the first time. I hope to God I told you guys that, because if I didn't, I'm a fool. But if I didn't, then tell me and I'll tell you next week the full story. Although I guess I just kind of covered it. But he sent me the video camera and I was bound and determined. I was sworn to myself. I'm like, I'm going to use this now. I'm totally going to use this now. And what happened was I pulled it out and I was monkeying with it in the fucking room. And I couldn't, because then I would have to plug it into my computer and put stuff on my computer and then edit it somehow. And it's just so easy to do it with the phone that I wasn't making full-length epics. I was just making these little bite-sized 1-minute videos, and it seemed silly to have a video camera to do that. Now, with the GoPro, it's going to be different, because I can fucking slap it on my head and use it while I'm running or doing shit or wherever I'm at. If I go to Kuwait or if I do a stand-up show, maybe I'll bring it on stage. I'm excited about that. That's going to be pretty cool. Although that's going to look fucking stupid with the people in the audience. I got a thing around my goddamn head like a cyclops. Jesus, a fucking GoPro wrapped around my skull. It's going to be bananas. But the video camera itself, it seemed... This will sound bad, antiquated to be able to take it out and use it when I could just grab my phone and push a button and be fucking done with it. And then the transferring, look, we've already talked about my phone's bricked and I can't transfer it. And also, I'm just dumb. I'm just going to be honest with you. I looked at it and I'm old. I keep thinking to myself, there's things I want to do, man. I want to learn a language. I want to try to learn Spanish. I want to do all these different things. And I wind up getting ahead of myself and I can't even fucking pick up this video camera and look at it and figure it out in 2 things. And then I put it down. It's my own fault. Everybody's like, dude, you need Adderall. You need some shit to fucking straighten yourself out. But if I pick something up and I look at it and I can't figure it out, I put it to the side. And then I'm just like, yeah, I'll get it later. I'll figure it out. And then I see that bag mocking me on the fucking desk in Kuwait in that guy Paul's house. And every time I would take it and I'd pull it out. I mean, I'll tell you this. I bought a Fitbit. Okay. I got a Fitbit just before I went to Kuwait. And I'm like, dude, I can't wait to use that Fitbit in Kuwait. Still in the box. Now, it's in the box for a purpose because I didn't want to use the Wi-Fi with the Fitbit app trying to coordinate it with the Fitbit watch as I walk the fuck around and whatever. That's just me. And I've got full plans to go Fitbit friendly starting on Monday. I've got it all squared away and all figured out. So I'll be wearing a weird, funky, giant, weird watch that tells you how I breathe, which is going to be bananas. But it's something I've always wanted, and I saw it. It was a fucking cool-ass deal, and so I picked it up. And it's just weird looking, but I can't wait to have it on, and I'm going to make... Because I have all plans and efforts that I'm going to tell you about later, and you don't care about that. I understand that, because we've done this how many times. I thought about that the other day. Fuck, dudes. I look and I think, well, we did this. We're going to do this, and then we did it, and then slacked off, and now we have to do it again. Do you really want to come along for that ride again? I hope you do. I hope you're going to be with me for fucking ever, and we're going to go ahead and take it... Well, not forever. That seems a little high. Holy fuck. If you guys are with me forever... say, you want to hook people in, get them halfway through a recipe and cut your fucking show in half. That's it. Do an hour about stew and then bail. Get on a plane. And then come back and revisit it 2 days later. Because that's the most important stew in the universe. Was there noodles or rice involved? Stay tuned!
We here, we are playing on a level that most will never see.